Chapter 144. Purple Gold Auction House, seeking monthly ticket. For under the illumination of the lights, her enchanting figure and mature, charming face suddenly appeared before everyone's eyes. This figure, this face, this demeanor, she's exactly like the goddess in my heart. Duan Qing stared dumbstruck at the woman on the auction stage, drool glistening as it dripped down his mask. This Lu Yan is truly the chief auctioneer of the Purple Gold Auction in Spirit Martial Prefecture, a true unparalleled beauty indeed. A middle-aged martial artist sitting nearby with his eyes squinted, quietly muttered while looking at the woman on the auction stage. Lu Yun's gaze involuntarily skimmed over the impressive area of her chest. He never rejected anything beautiful or attractive, and when in the mood, he would even pause to appreciate it properly. B0XO. Calm, but now, his interest was clearly not focused on her ample bosom. His gaze casually swept over the auction table, which was now clean and tidy, without any auction items on it. At this moment, Lu Yan gave a slight smile, her rosy cherry-like mouth slightly opening. "Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Purple Gold Auction. 1 a.m. The host of this auction, Lu Yan. One assume many of you know me, and of course, those who do not know me may take the chance to get to know me now." Even though Lu Yan looked mature and charming, her voice was sweet and soft, causing an involuntary tingling sensation in people's hearts. Even under the dim and dark environment, there were many lecherous fellows in the venue who started to grope themselves, and their eyes quickly became dreamy. Damn, there are actually people doing this kind of thing in such a public gathering. Lu Yun under his mask was speechless, thinking that no matter if it's Blue Star or here, there are always shameless people everywhere. He shook his head with a bitter smile, looked around once more, and finding no vacant seats, Lu Yun could only forcibly endure. "What's wrong?" Duan Qing moved his lascivious gaze from Lu Yan's enchanting figure to Lu Yun, and saw him looking around. "I should have checked the calendar before stepping out. I'm having a really bad day." "Calendar?" Duan Qing's chubby face under the mask was full of perplexion. Lu Yun casually explained, "It's a kind of treasure that can predict good or bad fortune." Seeing the excitement and agitation of the crowd, Lu Yan gave a slight smile, immediately transforming into a myriad of enchanting expressions, making the atmosphere even more lively. Seeing the effect was about right, Lu Yan became serious, saying, "All right, to not waste everyone's time, let's officially start with the auction. Please bring the first item onto the stage." As Lu Yan's alluring voice dropped, a beautiful woman stepped up gracefully, holding a delicate purple jade dish, covered with a golden piece of silk. The purple jade dish was placed on the auction table. Lu Yan extended her delicate pale hand to gently lift the golden silk. Instantaneously, an antique-looking martial arts book appeared before everyone's eyes. The first auction item is a first-grade martial arts book, named Soul Devouring Light / One think, everyone should be very interested. Don't miss the chance if you want to have it. Lu Yan's tempting red lips slightly opened, her enchanting and soft voice causing everyone below the stage to stir, their desires flaring. Martial artists inherently had robust vitality, and the ones with weaker willpower could hardly resist such a seductress. Lu Yun of pure Yang martial arts canon, with even more robust vitality, though his will was firm, he also felt a little influence, his body gradually growing hot. What a seductress! Muttering under his breath, the bloody lotus platform in his sea of consciousness subtly trembled, a wave of murderous intent permeated outwards, and he instantly cooled down. Most martial artists weren't all that eager for the appeal of women, hence they could suppress their desires. However, the desire for first-grade martial arts was much harder to suppress. Although Morijin advocated martial arts across the world, it was limited to the army and the martial academy. In other occasions, transactions or sales exceeding second-grade martial arts were strictly prohibited. Now, having encountered such a chance at the auction, one could not let it pass by. Seeing that the crowd had become restless, a smile unfolded once more across Lu Yan's mature and charming face. The starting bid for soul-devouring light slash is 5 spirit crystals, and each increase in bid must not be less than 1 spirit crystal. Lu Yan said with a smile. Her gaze scanned through the many martial artists in the hall, as she knew that this first-grade martial arts book had the greatest attraction to the martial artists and the weaker families. As for the few people in the boxes, they probably viewed the first-grade martial arts book with disinterest. 6 spirit crystals. The moment Lu Yan's words fell, a martial artist raised his placard to increase the bid. I bid 7 spirit crystals. Almost instantaneously, someone behind him raised his placard to increase the bid. Think you can win a first-grade martial arts book with 7 spirit crystals? You must be daydreaming. I bid 10 spirit crystals. 11 spirit crystals. Just after the arrogant man raised his placard, instantly someone else increased the bid. I 12 spirit crystals. The bids inside the venue surged continuously, the noise at the auction becoming more chaotic. Thankfully, bids were identified by raised placards, or else it would be impossible to tell who increased the bid. Very soon, the price of the soul-devouring light slash, a first-grade martial arts book, rose to 20 spirit crystals. Meanwhile, Lu Yun casually lay on his seat, looking at the lively atmosphere in the venue, feeling a bit relieved. It was fortunate that he had entered the Flying Spirit Martial Academy back then, or else he might have ended up just like these martial artists who were hurriedly increasing their bid. Chapter 145. Obtaining the pill recipe. The bid was fiercely ongoing for a while, and eventually, the soul-devouring light slash saber technique was won by someone with a bid of 22 spirit crystals. Naturally, Lu Yun was utterly dumbfounded by the price. This martial arts technique is worth at most only 15 spirit crystals, but that enchantress is really formidable, increasing its auction price by nearly half within just a few words, said Duan Qing, squinting under his mask. Using her mature and charming face, voluptuous figure, and irresistible voice, Lu Yan first stirred up the mood of the martial artists in the auction. Finally, she brought out the martial arts technique that interests many martial artists, and everyone willingly raised their bids. Even if they couldn't win the auction, they'd at least have the chance to get a smile from the beauty. B0XO. Calm Lu Yan had an iron grip on the psychology of the crowd. She was indeed the chief auctioneer of the Spirit Martial Prefecture's Purple Gold Auction Dows. On the brightly lit auction stage, Lu Yan saw that the first auction item had achieved a good result, and her smile became even brighter. With a light clap of her hands, another auction item was brought up by a female attendant. She lifted the golden-yellow veil from the purple jade plate, revealing several ancient-looking green parchment scrolls. Pill recipe. As their gazes fell upon the mysterious green scrolls shining under the lights on the purple jade plate, the crowd immediately exclaimed in surprise. It could be said that most of those attending the auction were family martial artists from the Spirit Martial Prefecture and its surrounding counties. Many of them had come for the pill recipes. Upon seeing the collection of scrolls, their eyes ignited with passion, making the atmosphere even more electrifying than when the first-grade martial arts technique was being auctioned. While first-grade martial arts were precious, they were not essential for a family. In contrast, pill recipes held a different significance. They could determine whether a family could cultivate an alchemist or even establish an alchemic inheritance with just one such recipe. After all, having an alchemist in the family would open up infinite possibilities. After the initial shock, some people in the venue gradually regained their composure. After all, for the vast majority of martial artists present, even if they could obtain a pill recipe from the auction, they wouldn't necessarily become alchemists. Becoming an alchemist is difficult without substantial financial support. Sitting in the back of the auction venue, Lu Yun heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the pill recipes appear. As long as he could get his hands on one pill recipe, he would have a free pass to become an alchemist. Later on, with the help of the Alchemist Alliance, he would no longer have to hide when obtaining spirit herbs. There are so many pill recipes up for auction at once. Bidding for one of them shouldn't be difficult. More importantly, it'll minimize the chances of exposing myself. Lu Yun mused. One believe everyone already knows what the second auction item is and how precious it is, said the smiling Lu Yen, as she picked up one of the green scrolls with her delicate hand. Moreover, the origin of these pill recipes is legitimate, and they are registered with the Alchemist Alliance. I can guarantee that there won't be any problems. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun's eyes flashed with surprise. As far as he knew, after the establishment of Morijin, the resources of various spirit herbs and medicines had almost disappeared due to the unbridled plundering by sections. To avoid wasting resources, the Alchemist Alliance was established to limit the spread of pill recipes among the public. As such, acquiring pill recipes had been very difficult up until now. The fact that so many pill recipes were being auctioned off at once with the approval of the Alchemist Alliance, it couldn't help but make him ponder. Miss Lu Yen, please announce the price quickly, urged the impatient people in the auction venue. With a still enchantingly charming smile on her face, Lu Yen calmly said, "The second auction item consists of 10 scrolls, each containing a different first-grade pill recipe. There will be 10 auctions in total. Each pill recipe has a starting bid of 20 spirit crystals, and each increment must be no less than 1 spirit crystal." TSS. The price announcement immediately made several people gasp. 20 spirit crystals were equivalent to half a year's income for small families in the county towns. Even for the middle-sized families of Spirit Marshal Prefecture, after deducting their family expenses and cultivation resources for their disciples, they didn't have much spirit crystals left every month. However, getting just 1 pill recipe justified living frugally for the next few months. 25 spirit crystals. Someone in the crowd raised their bid, adding a full 5 spirit crystals at once. 26 spirit crystals. Another person countered as soon as the previous bid was made. 27. 28. Excitement and eagerness filled the faces of the martial artists in the auction venue as they watched the pill recipes on the stage and heightened their bid. Soon enough, the price soared to 30 spirit crystals. 35 spirit crystals. A middle-aged man in a purple robe said with a powerful voice, instantly silencing many murmurs. "I hope everyone will give my Zhang clan of Blue Sun some face and let us have the first pill recipe. I will be most grateful." "The face of the Zhang clan of Blue Sun is worth nothing, how laughable," sneered a menacing-looking middle-aged man in a black robe from another direction before raising his bid. "I bid 36 spirit crystals." At the side, Duan Qing couldn't help but say to the still motionless Lu Yun, "Aren't you going to bid? Don't you want a pill recipe?" Chapter 146. Obtaining the pill recipe _2, there's no hurry, no hurry. Lu Yun laughed. "If you don't make a move on the first pill recipe, the competition will only get more intense and the prices higher later on," Duan Qing reminded. Lu Yun shook his head. "One don't think so. Maybe the competition for the first pill recipe is the most intense and has the highest price." Seeing that Lu Yun remained unmoved and spoke confidently, Duan Qing couldn't help but get curious. "According to your view, could it be that the later the pill recipe comes, the lower the price will be?" B0XO. Calm Lu Yun mysteriously smiled. "Not exactly. You just need to know that now is not the time to raise the price." During the two's conversation, the price of the first pill recipe had already soared to 50 spirit crystals, and it was still rising continuously. 55 spirit crystals. For a moment, a loud voice drifted from a private room on the second floor, instantly spreading throughout the entire auction hall. The many martial artists on the first floor were taken aback as this was the first time someone from a private room had placed a bid. Having a private room indicated that their identity and strength were top-notch in the entire Spirit Martial Prefecture. Were these people with such identity and strength also competing for a pill recipe now? More importantly, weren't they here for the finale treasure of the auction? Although they were slightly puzzled, someone quickly reacted and immediately raised the price. 56 spirit crystals. 57 spirit crystals. 58 spirit crystals. As the auction proceeded, everyone's bidding pace slowed down. After all, any spirit crystal was very expensive, and the price of the pill recipe had long exceeded most people's expectations. 65 spirit crystals. A heavy voice from the same private room came once again. Hearing such a high price, all the martial artists in the hall who were participating in the auction stopped, their faces full of unwillingness. With 50-something spirit crystals, they could grit their teeth and come up with them. However, once it exceeded 60 spirit crystals, many of them couldn't even take out that many, even if they tightened their belt. Forget it, we can't compete for the first pill recipe. There are still 9 more, and one still have a good chance. After the bid of 65 spirit crystals from the private room, the martial artists hesitated for a while and then gave up on raising the price, focusing on the upcoming pill recipes. All right, the distinguished guest in private room number 6 has offered 65 spirit crystals for the first time. Is there any more bidding? 65 spirit crystals for the second time? 65 spirit crystals for the third time? Good, sold. Eventually, Lu Yen hammered down the auction and ended the bidding for the first pill recipe. Now we'll start the auction for the second pill recipe with the same starting price. Each raise must not be lower than 1 spirit crystal. We, the Huang family, must not let the second pill recipe slip. With clenched teeth, an old man with a goatee on the first floor said, 25 spirit crystals. 26 spirit crystals. For a time, the sound of bidding rose and fell one after another. Soon, the price had risen to 40 spirit crystals. Duan Qing, who was at the side, reminded again, it's time to make a move on this second pill recipe. If you keep waiting, the price will only get higher. Lu Yin shook his head under his mask. No rush, the timing is not right. In the process of auctioning the first pill recipe, he had not done nothing. He had kept an eye on every single raise. He inferred the bidder's psychological price, and the number of spirit crystals they could take out based on their tone when raising the price and whether they continued to raise later. Not much later, the auction for the second pill recipe finally ended, and it was eventually sold to a medium-sized family for 64 spirit crystals. Duan Qing looked at Lu Yun doubtfully and wondered, incredible, why is the price for the second pill recipe even lower than the first one? Next, the bidding for the third pill recipe continued. It wasn't long before the third pill recipe was sold for 62 spirit crystals. Another 15 minutes later, the fourth pill recipe was sold for 60 spirit crystals. Damn, you were right. The price of the first pill recipe really was the highest, and the later ones were even lower. Duan Qing finally couldn't help but ask curiously, how did you know that the later the pill recipe gets, the lower the price would be? I never said that. Lu Yun laughed softly and then focused on the auction stage. The fifth pill recipe, start bidding. Lu Yen smiled, and the audience's recently calmed emotions were ignited again. 23 spirit crystals. As soon as Lu Yan's voice fell, someone immediately started raising their placard to bid. 25 spirit crystals. Now, it's my turn to make a move. Lu Yun, wearing his mask, smiled faintly, circulated the aggressive aura within his body, and a deep, thick voice drifted out. 40 spirit crystals. Hearing this voice, many martial artists in the auction hall who were ready to bid were slightly stunned. Which big shot was this, raising the price so boldly? Was he determined to win? However, the other competitors were not frightened. They only paused for a moment before someone immediately raised the price. 41 spirit crystals. Just as the first voice of raising the price had fallen, and before others had even opened their mouths, a deep and thick voice sounded once more. 50 spirit crystals. Oh, it was that big shot from before, who always raised the price aggressively. Out of curiosity, they looked back and saw a person wearing a black mask. Chapter 147. Obtaining the pill recipe _3 through the mask. A pair of crimson eyes could be seen, their gaze unexpectedly icy. Well, he's clearly a tough character. His price increase is so aggressive, it's better not to provoke him. Immediately, many people stopped raising their bid. However, for some medium-sized families who were determined to get the pill recipe, they wouldn't give up so easily and continued to bid. 51 Spirit B0XO. Com, 60 Spirit Crystals. Before the other party could finish speaking, Lu Yun's deep voice, enhanced by the aggressive aura, rang out again. Lu Yun's rough bidding price immediately extinguished the other party's thoughts of further competition. After all, from the current situation, the later the auction went, the lower the price of the pill recipes would be. Perhaps the price of the next pill recipe would be even lower? Just like that, Lu Yun won the 5th pill recipe with a bid of 60 spirit crystals. Were you a bit too hasty just now? If we had waited a little longer, the price might have gone even lower. Duan Qing whispered quietly. No, I think 60 spirit crystals is probably the lowest it will go. Lu Yun said indifferently. As his words fell, the 6th pill recipe had already started its auction. Apparently, it didn't take long for someone to raise the price to 50 spirit crystals, and the number of people in the auction raising their bids gradually decreased. At this moment, one of the middle-aged martial artists directly raised the price to 60 spirit crystals. This middle-aged martial artist was the patriarch of the Zhang clan of Blue Sun, his face looking somewhat pained at the moment. 60 spirit crystals could definitely hurt the family for several hundred days, but if they could get a pill recipe, it would be worth it. There shouldn't be anyone else raising their bid now. The patriarch of the Zhang clan thought. 61 spirit crystals. The martial artist who raised the price was the Huang family's goateed elder, and after raising his bid, he looked provocatively at the Zhang clan patriarch. Humph, well played. The Zhang clan patriarch snorted coldly, looking somewhat feeble. In the end, the 6th pill recipe was successfully auctioned by the Huang family for 61 spirit crystals. There are only 4 pill recipes left. Everyone please seize the last opportunity. After this, there will be no more chances. Lu Yen, the mature and charming woman, smiled, immediately animating the somewhat dull atmosphere. What? There are only 4 pill recipes left? I have to hurry up. The 7th pill recipe auction starts. As Lu Yan's delicate voice sounded, immediately someone started bidding. In the end, the 7th pill recipe was sold for 63 spirit crystals, and the Zhang clan patriarch's face turned very dark. If he had persevered earlier, he could have gotten a pill recipe for 62 spirit crystals. Now it cost him 1 more, and he felt quite heartbroken. However, when the 8th pill recipe auction was completed, his face bloomed with smiles again. The price of the 8th pill recipe unexpectedly rose to 65 spirit crystals. It's terrifying, and I'm glad I had the foresight. After 15 minutes, 69 spirit crystals. I am a fucking genius. Another 15 minutes later. The best decision I've made in my life was to buy a pill recipe for 63 spirit crystals. The Zhang clan patriarch mumbled to himself, his eyes full of shock. The 10 pill recipes have been auctioned off. Distinguished guests who have obtained the pill recipes, please head backstage to pay the spirit crystals and claim your auction item. Next, we will start the auction for the 3rd item. Why not keep watching? You might come across something you like. After leaving quietly through the back door of the purple gold auction house, Duan Qing murmured. After glancing back and finding that no one was following, Lu Yun replied, even if I could find something one liked, I couldn't afford it. Rather than drooling over it, it's better to leave early. It's nice to just window shop. I heard that there are several items in this auction that are quite impressive. One of them is the Earth Spirit Fruit, which can enhance any martial artist with level 5 innate talent or below. Another is the Heavenly Spirit Pill, which can help transforming Origin Realm martial artists increase their breakthrough success rate by 30%. The final item is, none of this has anything to do with us. At least for now, neither you nor I can afford any of it. Lu Yun ruthlessly interrupted the incessant chatter of Duan Qing, carefully observing the surroundings at the same time. Although they had left through the back door, it didn't mean that no one would ambush them halfway. You're just too paranoid, always being so secretive. There aren't that many killings and robberies, and even if there were, they wouldn't happen in this county capital. Duan Qing, who was somewhat careless, simply couldn't understand the cautious and sneaky Lu Yun. Caution is always the best policy. After finding out that there were indeed no abnormalities in the surroundings, Lu Yun and Duan Qing entered a narrow alley. It wasn't until they had removed their masks and black clothes that they returned to the brightly lit street. In the narrow alley, two black-clothed men emerged from a gloomy and pitch-black corner. One had gray hair and light blue eyes. In the pitch-black night, he looked like a wolf. He had a scar on his face like a caterpillar, making his face appear ghastly. The other had a hooked nose, bushy eyebrows, and streaks of muscles on his face. His eyes were filled with murderous intent, and at a glance, one could tell that he had blood on his hands. "Eldest brother, why did you let these two fat sheep go? We finally managed to track them here." Looking at the departing figures of the two, the hook-nosed man broke the silence and asked, "Didn't you see the clothes they were wearing? Those are star robes from the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, and only the Star Palace disciples are qualified to wear them." The gray-haired man in black whispered, "So what if they're from the Flying Spirit Martial Academy? No one would know anyway." The hook-nosed man was still somewhat unwilling to give in. Hearing this, the gray-haired man's face darkened slightly, warning, "You better stop having such crooked thoughts. In the Spirit Martial Prefecture, you can kill anyone, but you can't kill Flying Spirit Martial Academy disciples, especially those of the Star Palace. Otherwise, even with 10 lives, you and I wouldn't be able to save ourselves." Seeing his elder brother become so solemn and fearful when mentioning the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, the hook-nosed man had to let go of his murderous intent. The gray-haired man in black was still not at ease, and reminded him again, "With our transforming Origin Realm cultivation, as long as we stay alert in the Spirit Martial Prefecture, there shouldn't be any danger. But if we encounter a tough adversary, being in the transforming Origin Realm would make us nothing more than ants." "I know, elder brother. From now on, I'll do my best to avoid Flying Spirit Martial Academy disciples. But what should we do next? We can't just return empty-handed," the hook-nosed man said. "Empty-handed? How could that be possible?" The look of panic and anxiety on the gray-haired man's face immediately disappeared, replaced by a sinister and venomous expression. Chapter 148. Alchemy, Departure. Returning to the Martial Academy without any hindrances, Lu Yun found it somewhat unbelievable. He found everything was going too smoothly. There were no followers outside the auction house, no thieves trying to kill and rob him outside the city. All of this made him feel as if his extra caution was really unnecessary. Anyway, it's always better to be safe than sorry. After a sigh, Lu Yun went to the kitchen and took an alchemy furnace out of his sumi bag. B0XO. The alchemy furnace was quite small, only about 3 feet tall, and entirely red. In the middle of the furnace, 4 toads were carved. The mouths of the toads, which were open wide, provided a passage from the furnace's interior to the outside world. At the top, there was a special lid with a special hole in it for adding alchemy materials. Additionally, during the alchemy process, one could observe everything inside the furnace through this hole to better control the heat. The surface of the alchemy furnace was also painted with various beautiful and lifelike patterns, which made it look quite exquisite. This is merely the most basic alchemy furnace, and yet it cost me 50 spirit crystals. Looking at the little alchemy furnace in front of him, Lu Yun was feeling a pang of regret. 50 spirit crystals were approximately equivalent to 5,000 contribution points, which could be converted into several thousand units of energy value. If he had invested all these in the pure Yang martial arts canon, he would have been able to complete the final refinement of the pure Yang aura. All the sacrifices I'm making now are for better improving my strength in the future. Slapping his cheeks, Lu Yun cleared his mind and took out a pile of spirit herbs from his storage ring. As these were all materials for refining first-grade pills, they weren't very expensive. Lu Yun spent just 6 spirit crystals and got a pile which was enough for him to get started with the alchemy process. These were all the materials needed for refining the energy pills, approximately 200 portions. With so many portions of materials, even a pig could make a complete pill. Looking at the various spirit herbs filling the kitchen, Lu Yun thought to himself. The medicinal herbs needed for making energy pills are, squinting slightly, Lu Yun ran through the names of all the herbs in his mind, and also recalled all of their properties and effects. After thoroughly studying the pill recipe for nearly an hour, he started to put charcoal into the alchemy furnace and lit it. I need to be very careful for the first attempt. Then, he started to add the spirit herbs to the alchemy furnace one by one, according to the description in the recipe. He slowly controlled the heat, allowing the herbs to gradually liquefy. One of the most difficult steps in alchemy is refinement. After the herbs are melted into a liquid, they must be controlled with spiritual power. In general, the stronger the spiritual power, the better the control over the heat, and the higher the purity of the medicinal liquid. In addition, different years of the same kind of herb require different levels of purification and thermal control. Higher level or more experienced alchemists can control the heat well. The more types of herbs used, the stricter the requirements for their individual purity and ratio and the level of heat control, and the higher the requirements for alchemy technique. Another complicated step is pill condensation, which requires accurate timing. Improper timing can not only waste time but also waste the spiritual power of the medicinal liquid, and may even risk explosion of the furnace, so it is particularly important to grasp the timing of pill condensation. The grasp of the timing of pill condensation is also closely related to the strength of alchemy technique. The stronger the alchemy technique, the more accurate the judgment of timing. The last complex and challenging step is to solidify the separated liquid into a pill. This step has a hard requirement on the intensity of soul interference. Lu Yun carefully controlled the heat, slowly refining one portion of spirit herbs after another. However, not long after, when Lu Yun began to refine an ink jade grass, an irritating smell immediately emerged from the alchemy furnace due to slightly excessive heat. The first portion of energy pill material was wasted like this. Keep at it. Scratching his nose, Lu Yun continued to put spirit herbs into the furnace. This time, he was much more cautious, not only constantly controlling the heat, but also closely observing the situation inside the furnace through the hole in the lid. However, he only managed to hold on a little longer than before when he smelled an unpleasant odor. Undoubtedly, the second attempt at alchemy failed. After 2 consecutive failures, Lu Yun's face became more serious. Learning from the experience of the previous 2 times, he once again devoted himself wholeheartedly to alchemy. Failure! Failure! Failure again! Lu Yun, like an indestructible cockroach, was not discouraged at all. On the contrary, his fighting spirit was even stronger. 2 days later, he finally managed to complete the liquefaction process smoothly and started the refinement process. However, due to his unfamiliarity, he applied too much force, causing the temperature of the heat to exceed his control and causing most of the spiritual liquid to evaporate. Moreover, the process of refinement was even more challenging than liquefaction. It took 3 whole days to complete the refinement process of the medicinal liquid. Alchemy is not only a craft but also a physically demanding and financially draining endeavor. Wiping the sweat off his forehead, Lu Yun continued to work. After many failures, he had mastered the 2 steps of liquefaction and refinement. Now the only thing keeping him from becoming an alchemist was the last step, pill condensation. Failure after failure followed. After 10 days, Lu Yun was fully focused on controlling the temperature in the alchemy furnace. At this moment, if the temperature was slightly higher, the medicinal liquid in the furnace would become a mass of charred mess and give off an irritating smell. Chapter 149. Alchemy Departure. About 3 minutes later, a bit of yellow impurity gradually appeared in the green medicinal liquid. Seeing these impurities, Lu Yun's pure yang aggressive aura moved, driving them away from the surface of the liquid. Once the impurities were mostly removed, purification was completed. After one portion was purified, Lu Yun's aggressive aura moved, controlling it to send it to the top of the furnace and re-refining and purifying another spirit grass. An hour later, he finally refined and purified all the spirit grass. B0XO. Calm continuously controlling the temperature of the flame in the furnace. The next step, pill condensation, was the most difficult. Lu Yun had already failed dozens of times at this point, wasting countless spirit grass. Under Lu Yun's control, a total of 4 separate colorful liquids merged together. Lu Yun immediately threw in another spirit grass that had been prepared earlier into the furnace. Upon entering the furnace and coming into contact with the flame, the capturing spirit grass instantly turned into a liquid and, under Lu Yun's control of the aggressive aura, quickly completed purification. Creak. The moment the liquid purified from the capturing spirit grass made contact with the previous liquid, spiritual energy surged crazily into the furnace. Before long, the liquid began to solidify, and a rough pill embryo gradually appeared in the flame. As the spiritual pill gradually took shape, the heat in the furnace would gradually change. Otherwise, the result would be charred pills. After refining for nearly 2 hours, seeing the fully formed energy pill in the furnace, a trace of joy finally appeared on Lu Yun's face. He excitedly and cautiously opened the furnace, retrieved the pill, and put it under his nose to smell. A faint fragrance entered his nostrils, and Lu Yun couldn't help but feel refreshed. After half a month of failure, he finally refined an energy pill. After hundreds of failures, he finally became an alchemist. After a period of excitement and joy, Lu Yun's gaze fell on the sides of the furnace. On the ground were charred pills, each one blacker than the next. The most unsightly among them looked like an irregular lump of black charcoal. These charred pills, a total of 63, represented his 63 failures in the pill condensation step. He had also failed more than 40 times during the steps of refining and purifying the liquid. Together, that made over 100 failures. It took more than 100 failures to refine an energy pill, which showed that Lu Yun's talent for alchemy was far inferior to his talent for cultivation. I wonder if the energy value has any effect on the pill refining technique. He muttered to himself, then opened the panel expectantly. Name: Lu Yun. Power: Flying Spirit Martial Academy Martial Arts. 7 Kill Saber Technique, Reach Profound, cannot be upgraded. Black Tiger Saber Technique, Perfection, cannot be upgraded. Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, 4th layer 8%. 4th layer. 50 increase in practice progress per layer. Gale Thunder Flash Step, Perfection, cannot be upgraded. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, True Chi Chapter, Reach Profound 42%. Reach Profound, 50 increase in practice progress. Innate Talent, Level 6, Martial Arts, True Chi Realm, 11 times refined. Energy Value, 8, 1 added automatically every 2 days. Conception Slaughter Conception, first rank 47%. Pill Refining Technique, first level, 1%. As expected, the panel added a new line for Pill Refining Technique, along with a progress bar. Lu Yun focused on the Pill Refining Technique. Upgrade. After consuming 2 energy values, the pill refining technique progressed twice. When all his energy values were used up, the pill refining technique progressed to first level, 9%. With my current improvements in pill refining technique, if I refine the energy pill again, the success rate should greatly increase. Putting away the panel, Lu Yun looked at the spirit grass beside him. Now, he had 94 sets of materials left for refining energy pills. Start refining. Create a fire. Add the medicine. Refinement process. Purification process. Pill condensation. 4 hours later, the energy pill was successfully refined. Looking at the slightly green energy pill with a hint of light blue in his hand, Lu Yun let out a long breath. This time, it only took 4 hours, nearly twice as fast as before. Carefully placing the energy pill into a jade bottle, Lu Yun continued to refine. 10 days later, the remaining materials were finally all refined by Lu Yun, and he now had 75 energy pills in his hands. Out of the 94 sets of materials, he had refined 67 energy pills, giving an astonishing success rate of 70%. In addition, after continuously refining energy pills, his pill refining technique also made significant progress, reaching first rank 32%. After washing up, Lu Yun had a good rest. Having refined pills for almost a month straight, the wear on Lu Yun's spiritual power and physical strength was immense, so he slept for a full day and night. The next day, when Lu Yun woke up, he found that there was suddenly an extra person in his room. "I want to go out and gain experience. Do you want to come with me?" Xiao Chen stared intently at Lu Yun. Lu Yun didn't answer. He was now focused on improving his pill refining technique and hadn't thought about anything else, let alone going out for an adventure. After a moment of silence, he said, "Now is the time for our strength to advance rapidly. Staying in the martial academy is the best choice." Xiao Chen shook his head. "The environment of the martial academy is good, but it is too comfortable and not suitable for both me and you." Lu Yun countered, "We are both too weak now. Without the martial academy, we are nothing. Young saplings that do not experience wind and rain will never grow into towering trees. Staying under the protection of the martial academy will gradually erode our ambition, and our vision will be limited to the corner of the Spirit Martial Prefecture." Chapter 150. Alchemy, Departure. Xiao Chen's expression was very determined. "There is the myriad phenomena tower in the martial academy for us to hone our skills, and numerous senior brothers for us to surpass. Those trash, I can kill a bunch of them in the same realm with just one sword. There are also many senior brothers and sisters in the late transforming origin realm and even origin fluid realm. The senior brothers and sisters you mentioned are not in the martial academy for almost 10 months a year. B0XO. Calm. The two continued their stalemate for an hour. Finally, Xiao Chen's eyebrows furrowed. "You don't want to go with me?" After a brief silence, Lu Yun said, "I'm more afraid of dying. I won't go on a casual adventure before I have the ability to protect myself. Even when I go out to complete quests, one only stay within the Spirit Martial Prefecture." Hearing this, a hint of disappointment flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. "In that case, see you later." With that, he disappeared from the room with a flash. Sigh. Lu Yun let out a light sigh. It wasn't that he was afraid of dying, but there were still many opportunities in the martial academy that he didn't want to give up easily. Most importantly, his current goal was to improve his alchemy technique, which was related to his martial arts path. Well, it's time to go to the Myriad Phenomena Tower and get some benefits. Myriad Phenomena Tower, 15th floor. This was a grayish-black mountain range. At the top of the mountain range, there was an active volcano that spewed magma from high in the sky from time to time. Even from 10 miles away, Lu Yun felt a surge of palpitations. Could it not be so realistic? Even an active volcano scene like this can be created. Lu Yun couldn't help but complain after dodging a molten lava fall from the sky. Boom, 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 molten lava fell from the sky, causing the ground to shake violently. Fortunately, the volcano stopped erupting after a short time. At this moment, the lava that had fallen to the ground suddenly began to shake and gather together. Quickly, under Lu Yun's astonished gaze, a huge lava creature stood up. With a body height of 50 feet, its skull was equipped with two red lantern-like eyes, burning with flames all over its body, emitting a powerful aura, comparable to a level 3 peak demon beast. Squeaking and squeaking, several more lava creatures appeared around, their auras almost the same as the first one. Is this floor's demon beast a lava creature? A glint of light flashed in Lu Yun's eyes. Roar! After the lava creature stood up completely, it immediately stepped forward and rushed towards Lu Yun with loud thumps. As the lava creature ran, it left a trail of scorching flames on the ground. As it approached Lu Yun, the burning giant hand slammed down at him, and the air was completely ignited by the scorching temperature. Facing such a terrifying palm, Lu Yun didn't move, instead extending his finger gently, gathering pure yang aggressive aura on it. The moment the giant flaming palm fell, a dazzling light pierced through the palm and the lava creature's body. Boom! A pile of burning boulders fell in front of Lu Yun with a crashing sound. Roar, roar, roar! At this moment, the other 4 lava creatures roared angrily and attacked Lu Yun simultaneously. Clang! Drawing the sword, slashing horizontally. Bright and dazzling blade light bloomed, resplendent and shining, completely overshadowing the flames burning in the lava creature's body. A dozen breaths later, those lava creatures, which were equivalent to level 3 peak demon beasts, were no longer standing, and the ground was entirely covered with burning boulders. Looking at the shattered rocks on the ground, Lu Yun suddenly remembered the sword eyebrow youth. When one day one can easily slaughter level 5 demon beasts, I will definitely step out of the Spirit Martial Prefecture. That day won't be far away. In that ancient and unchanged courtyard, a white-robed youth was swinging a heavy axe, accompanied by the whistling sound of wind breaking. Yi Xingqian had his eyes closed, lying on a wooden chair and swaying, the creaking sound echoed regularly. In less than an hour, he passed the 15th floor of the Myriad Phenomena Tower, but he didn't continue, and didn't even enter the 16th floor. After leaving the Myriad Phenomena Tower, he exchanged 5 bottles of Profound Origin pills at the Pill Medicine Building. Yi Xingqian slowly digested these 2 pieces of information. After a while, those deep and wise eyes slowly opened. This kid is exchanging pills so frequently. Doesn't he fear pill toxicity? Also, being able to clear the 15th floor in less than an hour's time proves that his strength is far superior to ordinary true Qi 9 refinement martial artists, and even comparable to those heavenly pride with true Qi 10 refinements. With such a strong foundation and background, it doesn't look like someone who has accumulated too much toxicity from pills. Could it be that there was a problem with the innate talent test, and the 5-star innate talent is not his true gift? Several questions appeared in his mind in an instant. Master, I've almost been in the Martial Academy for half a year. Can one go and challenge the Myriad Phenomena Tower? At this time, Gu Yuan came over with an axe on his shoulder. Compared to a few months ago, Gu Yuan had undergone significant changes in both temperament and appearance. Heroic, strong, and burly. Yi Xingqian lifted his eyes and glanced at his beloved disciple, laughing and saying, "How far have you cultivated your heavenly star earth-slaying axe?" 3rd layer. Good, but I have one requirement. Please say, Master. Pass the first 8 floors in one go. The first 8 floors? Gu Yuan thought for a moment and said, "Please wait for my good news, Master." Chapter 151. 6th Grade Alchemist Di Qing. The second day. As the morning sun was just sprinkling the earth, Lu Yun left the Martial Academy early. Spirit Martial Prefecture City. Even though it wasn't his first time in Spirit Martial Prefecture City, when walking on the streets, seeing the bustling crowds, the hubbub of voices, and the entire scene of prosperity, Lu Yun was still immensely shocked. Lu Yun followed a street called Vermilion Bird Street straight down. B0XO. Vermilion Bird Street was slightly different from other streets, as the shops on both sides of the street were decorated lavishly and grandly, with signs bearing names like so-and-so Hall or so-and-so Pavilion. That's right, on the entire Vermilion Bird Street, 70 to 80% of the shops sold items like pills and spirit grass, which were helpful in improving one's martial arts cultivation. After walking for a while, Lu Yun reached the end of Vermilion Bird Street and slowly came to a halt. Looking up, a group of breathtaking buildings appeared before his eyes. The row of buildings stood tall on the end of Vermilion Bird Street, with their green to red tiles gleaming under the sun rays, captured Lu Yun's attention, especially the tallest building among them. A huge plaque was placed on top of the building, bearing a row of golden characters dancing like dragons and phoenixes, shimmering with dazzling light. Alchemist Alliance, Spirit Martial Prefecture Branch. With a soft mutter under his breath, Lu Yun stared at the group of buildings for a moment. There were many people around, like him, casting envious and respectful gazes at the tall building. Within the Spirit Martial Prefecture, other than the lofty Flying Spirit Martial Academy, only the Alchemist Alliance branch stood above the rest. The status of an alchemist was also highly sought after by numerous martial artists and forces. Those who could enter that tall building all had a common identity: an alchemist. Touching the white-scale purple-gold knife behind him, Lu Yun took a deep breath and strode toward the Alchemist Alliance. As he arrived at the entrance, he was stopped by two burly men. "Little fellow, this is the Alchemist Alliance. Only alchemists are allowed to enter. Outsiders without important matters should not enter indiscriminately." Lu Yun indifferently said, "What makes you think 1 a.m. not an alchemist?" The burly man replied, "It's simple. You don't have an alchemist badge." "Alchemist badge?" Lu Yun's eyebrows furrowed slightly. At that moment, footsteps approached from behind. The person seemed to be in a hurry and didn't seem to be intending to make way, so Lu Yun had to sidestep slightly. Upon a hurried glance, he saw a white-robed young man with a gloomy-looking gaze. However, Lu Yun's eyes fell on a bronze badge on the young man's chest, which was engraved with two carefully carved pill patterns. Seeing the white-robed young man, the two burly men immediately stepped aside, and even squeezed out a smile, watching him enter the gate. "That is our Alchemist Alliance's genius alchemist Lin Feng, a second-grade alchemist at such a young age. His future is boundlessly bright." Yes, that bronze badge on his chest is a symbol of an alchemist, and the two pill patterns engraved on it represent his status as a second-grade alchemist. After Lin Feng left, the burly man explained to Lu Yun. Lu Yun said, "One don't have an alchemist badge for now, but I am indeed an alchemist, and this time one have come to certify my alchemist identity." "Certify your alchemist identity?" the burly man replied. "Do you have an introduction letter from an alchemist from our Alchemist Alliance? If you don't, you can't undergo the alchemist certification." An introduction letter? Hearing this, Lu Yun was taken aback. Was an introduction letter from an alchemist from the Alchemist Alliance required for certifying an alchemist identity? This was completely unexpected to him. Helplessly shaking his head, just as Lu Yun was feeling somewhat distressed and preparing to return home to think of another way, an aged voice suddenly rang out from behind him. "Young man, don't you have anyone to introduce you?" Lu Yun turned his head and saw a black-robed elder standing behind him. It was a thin and sallow face, with a slightly dark complexion and thin eyebrows, beneath which was a pair of spirited, benevolent eyes. Lu Yun's gaze shifted and eventually rested on the badge on the old man's chest, where a silver badge engraved with pill patterns, a total of 6, could be seen. Lu Yun's heart instantly stirred up ripples. What kind of identity did this old man have? His alchemist badge seemed to be of a high rank. "Greetings, Elder D." Upon seeing the black-robed elder, the two burly door guards immediately saluted. The Byak-robed elder slightly nodded, and then, with his spirited eyes focused on Lu Yun, he kindly smiled. "Little fellow, how about I introduce you?" With a slight joy in his heart, Lu Yun quickly bowed and laughed. "Thank you, Elder D." "Haha, then come with me." Elder D laughed heartily and led Lu Yun into the gate. The two door guards naturally wouldn't obstruct them anymore. On the contrary, they revealed fawning smiles when Lu Yun passed by. As soon as they entered the gate, they saw a pretty and youthful girl in the distance waving at them, and her crystal-clear white jade wrist appeared like jade stone under the sunlight, drawing attention. Lu Yun's gaze also couldn't help but linger on her for a moment. The girl was probably only about 15 or 16 years old, with a slightly petite figure and a somewhat tender face. However, her body was well developed, with the right curves in the right places, appearing relatively mature. She wore a light purple dress. His gaze lingered on her protruding chest for a while, but he couldn't find the badge that represented the identity of an alchemist. Chapter 152. 6th Grade Alchemist D-Ching_2 Grandpa, why are you only coming now? I've been waiting here for so long, humph. After Lu Yun and Elder D walked in, the girl in purple snorted coldly. Looking at the girl who was gritting her teeth and frowning at her cute, upturned nose, Elder D smiled with affection on his old face and said, I'm already old, one naturally can't keep up with you energetic youngsters. It's just because you're slow, why do you have to find so many excuses? The purple-clad girl pouted playfully, her eyes falling on Lu Yun as if she had found something fun, and said with a bright smile, I've never seen this little brother before, where did you find him, Grandpa? B0XO. Calm, I just met him outside, so one brought him in. Don't underestimate him. He's here for the Alchemist Assessment Certification too. Immediately, Elder D turned to Lu Yun with a smile and said, This is my granddaughter, D Ruoling. She's quite lively, but she means well. Brother Lu Yun, how about calling me Sister Ruoling? D Ruoling playfully stuck her tongue out at Lu Yun and smiled mischievously. Lu Yun just responded with a faint smile, bowing slightly. Lu Yun, nice to meet you, Miss Ruoling. You're so young, yet you act like a little grown-up. How boring. D Ruoling pursed her lips and quickly lost interest in teasing Lu Yun. Let's go, girl. You'd better perform well today. Don't embarrass me, otherwise one won't be able to face old man Deng in the future. Don't worry, Grandpa. It's just a first-grade pill, it won't stop me. D Ruoling held Elder D's arm, her delicate face brimming with confidence and laughter. Stay cautious, especially as an alchemist. Better to err on the safe side. Elder D patted the little head of D Ruoling tenderly and gave Lu Yun a friendly smile. Brother Lu, let's go together. Elder D after you. And so, Elder D led Lu Yun and D Ruoling into the inner hall of the Alchemist Guild. As they entered the first-floor lounge, they were greeted by a faint medicinal fragrance that made them feel completely relaxed and refreshed. There were around a dozen staff members in the hall, casually talking with each other as they handled their work. Many people of various ages were holding letters of introduction, looking around with confusion, seemingly trying to figure out the Alchemist Assessment Certification procedure. However, no staff was present to help at the moment. Looking at this scene, Lu Yun shook his head in disappointment. This kind of negligence was all too familiar from his past life, and he didn't expect he'd find the same phenomenon even in the Alchemist Guild. Ahem, Elder D, leading Lu Yun and D Ruoling, walked straight to a counter and let out a soft cough, sounding particularly sharp in the somewhat cold hall. The chatting staff members looked up in surprise after seeing Elder D in his black robes. They quickly straightened their bodies and busied themselves with the tasks at hand. Soon, a young man in a gray robe hurriedly walked out from a backstage area and rushed to the counter. Elder D, the young man had beads of sweat on his brow, and his words were becoming a bit incoherent. Obviously, he wasn't attending to his job during working hours, and having Elder D catch him in the act had completely flustered him. Elder D just waved his hand with a smile, saying, "Don't be nervous. Just be more alert next time. First, help them fill out the alchemist assessment certification forms." After realizing Elder D wasn't going to pursue the matter further, the young man breathed a sigh of relief and agreed. Then, he called out to the people in the hall, "Please forgive me for keeping you waiting so long. It's my fault, and I apologize." Although the others didn't seem too bothered by the delay, they didn't show any dissatisfaction and walked over to form an orderly line. Lu Yun and Di Ruoling were at the front of the queue. The young man took out a golden booklet from a drawer under the counter and said to Lu Yun with a faint smile, "Hello, please tell me your name, age, and the name of the person who introduced you so I can register you. After the registration is complete, you'll be taken for the Alchemist Assessment Certification, and then you'll be awarded the Alchemist Badge. Lu Yun, 13 years old, the person who introduced me is..." Lu Yun hesitated for a moment, looking at Elder D, only to find he had disappeared. "You don't have someone to introduce you?" The young man's pen paused in midair, and he looked at Lu Yun with a touch of annoyance. "My grandpa, Di Qing, is his introducer." At this moment, Di Ruoling stepped in from behind with a frown and coldly said, Miss Ruoling is also here." The young man let out an awkward laugh, then continued to write down Di Qing's name in the introducer section. After finishing the registration, the young man said with a smile, "Please wait a moment. Someone will take you all for the assessment once registration is complete." Lu Yun nodded, walked aside, and made room for others. After registering, Di Ruoling walked over and looked at Lu Yun with a smile. "Not bad. You're only 13 years old, and you're already here for the alchemist certification. You must be just coming to give it a try, right?" Chapter 153. 6th Rank Alchemist Di Qing _3 Of course not. Lu Yun shook his head and confidently smiled. "Hee, we will see after the examination." About an hour later, everyone participating in the alchemist certification had registered, totaling 36 people. The youngest were Lu Yun and Di Ruoling. The rest were at least 20 years old. Some of them were even very old, with graying hair, appearing frail. B0XO. Soon after, a pretty young woman in a green dress appeared in the hall and said to the crowd, "Those participating in the alchemist examination, please follow me." She then took everyone's registration books, turned around, and walked out of the hall. The crowd hurried to catch up. Within moments, they arrived at a large gate. There were 4 martial artists guarding the gate, all wearing purple robes embroidered with the Alchemist League logo. Next to the gate was a table and chair, with a number plate on top. Lu Yun's gaze swept over the 4 martial artists and felt a sense of awe. All of them were true Qi realm martial artists, having completed at least true Qi 6 refinements. Wow, even the gate is guarded by martial artists who have completed true Qi 6 refinements. The Alchemist League sure is wealthy and impressive. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked out of the gate, also wearing a robe with the Alchemist League logo. However, compared to the other 4, this middle-aged man's aura was more stable and profound. Even Lu Yun couldn't tell his true depth. For someone like Lu Yun to not be able to tell, this person must be at least close to the origin fluid realm. "Commander Xiong, is the examination inside over?" While speaking, the woman in green handed over the golden registration book with a smile. "Not yet, but it's almost done." The middle-aged martial artist named Commander Xiong scanned the crowd, and when his gaze fell on Lu Yun, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. With his strength, he could feel a sense of danger from this teenager. How strange. "Ha, these new recruits seem to be quite diverse." He chuckled, meticulously checked the golden registration books, and after finding no issues, went to the table, sat down, and smiled. "The examination fee is 1 spirit crystal. Pay it here." "We need to pay an examination fee of 1 spirit crystal?" Lu Yun frowned slightly, but his frown eased when he saw that everyone else was acting as if this was perfectly normal. First up, Lu Yun. Commander Xiong called out. Lu Yun stepped forward, reluctantly handed over a spirit crystal, received a black number plate with a red 1 written on it. Di Ruoling patted Lu Yun's shoulder and laughed. It's just a spirit crystal. It's not that bad. Of course, Impor. You better stay away from me. Lu Yun replied irritably. He. Seeing this, Di Ruoling couldn't help but cover her mouth and giggle. In about 10 minutes, alright, you can go in now. The number plates in your hands are your exam numbers, so keep them safe. If you lose them, your spirit crystal will go to waste. As soon as Commander Xiong finished speaking, the 4 true Qi realm martial artists guarding the gate automatically stepped aside, leaving a passage open. Let's go. My grandfather has probably been waiting inside for a long time. Di Ruoling chuckled and dragged Lu Yun into the hall. Upon entering the gate, a bright and spacious hall came into view. Lu Yun scanned the main hall, his gaze falling first on the panel of judges seated at the front. At the moment there were 7 alchemists of different ages. He recognized them as alchemists at a glance because each wore a silver badge on their chest. On the silver badges there were at least 4 pill patterns. The female alchemist sitting in the middle was about 30 to 40 years old, but her silver badge had 5 pill patterns. Below the judges' panel, a massive hourglass was placed. Sand continuously flowed through the hourglass, which now had about 1/4 remaining. In the center of the main hall, 40 small compartments were carefully arranged. Each small compartment contained a small alchemy furnace and other auxiliary alchemy tools. At this moment, there were busy figures in each compartment, some with sparse smoke and others with fragrant pill odors wafting about. Subsequently, Lu Yun's gaze shifted to the representative seats on both sides of the hall. There was a large sign in front of both sides' representative seats, marked with the characters, Representatives. Each representative seat displayed a small sign, each inscribed with Family X, Commerce Association X, or County Government, X, and so on. On the left side of the representative seats, Lu Yun saw Elder Di Qing, who was chatting with 2 other elders. One of the elders wore a silver badge on his chest, also engraved with 6 pill patterns. In front of him, there was a small sign with the words, Elder of the Alchemist League, Deng He. Lu Yun's gaze suddenly fell on the small sign in front of the other elder. Elder of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, Jiangwen? Lu Yun rubbed his eyes, making sure that he hadn't made a mistake. He was surprised that the academy also had an elder present. The current hall seemed to gather the powerhouses of the entire Spirit Martial Prefecture, including the Martial Academy, Alchemist League, County Government, and major clans of the Spirit Martial Prefecture. Thinking of this, Lu Yun couldn't help but revisit his thoughts on the Alchemist League. According to the layout of this hall, almost every examination has judges who are representatives of various power structures. Is this all for fairness? Lu Yun shook his head slightly, knowing it couldn't be that simple. Just then, a gentle and calm voice sounded beside him. Everyone, please take a seat in the examination area. The examination will proceed according to your number. Following the guidance of a pretty young woman, Lu Yun and the others reached the back of the main hall, directly opposite the judges' panel, separated by 40 small compartments. Old man Deng, where is your obedient grandson? I haven't seen him yet, and the exam is about to begin. Seeing Di Ruoling seated in the examination area, Di Qing slightly smiled, glanced at the hourglass below the judges' panel, turned his head, and asked Deng He, who was having a lively conversation with Jiangwen. Don't worry, there's still 1/6 of the sand left in the hourglass. Knowing Yun Hu's character, he won't appear until the last moment. Deng He responded unhurriedly while revealing a smile on his old face. What about that little girl of yours? She's always active and doesn't like to sit still. I wonder what level her alchemy skills have reached. Mentioning Di Ruoling, Di Qing's smile grew more pronounced, and he said somewhat proudly, Rest assured, she's definitely not weaker than Yun Hui. That's hard to say. You two are old bones and still love to compete like always. Seeing the two squabbling old men beside him, Jiang Wen smiled faintly. Chapter 154. The elixir is completed. Sitting in the examination seat, Lu Yun's gaze fell on the small compartment in front of him. At this point, a small number of people had already completed the refinement of their pills and were sitting in the small compartment, waiting for the end of the allotted time. The majority of people were in the process of pill condensation, with a faint fragrance of medicine wafting out. There was also a group of people who were frantically dealing with the charred pills they had created, reattempting their pill refinement. As the evaluation deadline approached, they were all breaking into a sweat. B0XO. Calm. Seeing those panicked people, a rare hint of sympathy flickered in Lu Yun's eyes, but it quickly disappeared. Sigh. Although 2 sets of materials are provided, the number of people who actually use both sets within the limited time is very small, Di Ruoling said with a slight sigh. Under normal circumstances, these people wouldn't struggle as much to refine a qualified pill. But in this kind of environment, with multiple pairs of eyes watching and competitors all around, it was natural for one's mood to be affected. For alchemists, the most taboo thing is to have fluctuations in their mood, especially for those with lower levels of skill. If they aren't careful, an entire batch of pills can be ruined. Soon enough, there were no more particles of sand left in the giant hourglass. Bang! The middle-aged female alchemist in the main seat of the evaluation panel struck her hammer, making a loud noise. With the sound of her hammer, everyone in the small compartments stopped their actions, and the finished pills were taken out by designated individuals, ultimately submitted to the judges' seats all together, leaving the 7 judges to evaluate each one individually. Lu Yun noticed that everyone in the small compartments had uncertain expressions on their faces. Among them, the candidates who had failed to refine their pills looked utterly disappointed and disheveled, as if they had been dealt a severe blow. On the other hand, those who had successfully refined pills displayed both anticipation and anxiety, as if they were awaiting something. Seeing this, Lu Yun couldn't help but ask Di Ruoling at his side, "If they have already refined the pills, why do they still look so anxious?" Di Ruoling looked at Lu Yun with surprise, seemingly puzzled as to how he could not know even this bit of common knowledge. Even if they've successfully produced pills, if the quality doesn't meet the requirements, they won't be eligible to join the Alchemists' League. At most, they would obtain alchemist certification and become a first-grade alchemist, she explained. In that case, they would not be able to enjoy the benefits of being a member of the Alchemist League, Lu Yun said. Exactly, Di Ruoling replied. She then added, "There is an upside to that, however. They won't have to take on any obligations, and they may choose to collaborate with the Alchemist League in other ways." Upon hearing this, Lu Yun's eyes lit up, and he asked, "Could I obtain pill recipes or spirit herbs and medicine from the Alchemist League in that case?" Di Ruoling glanced at Lu Yun and chuckled. The Alchemist League controls pill recipes very strictly. They wouldn't allow them to be leaked easily unless under special circumstances. Seeing that Lu Yun wanted to ask more, she continued, "Don't ask me what those special circumstances are, because one don't know either." Seeing this, Lu Yun could only smile helplessly. At this point, the 7 judges had already evaluated the pills. Out of the 40 candidates, 29 successfully passed the test and obtained the title of first-grade alchemist. Among them, 15 acquired the qualifications to join the Alchemist League. Understandably, there were those delighted and those despondent. However, none of this was of any concern to Lu Yun anymore. At most, he was just slightly moved, but there was no major emotional impact on him. After the first batch of candidates had left, one of the judges said, "Now, candidate number 1 enter the compartment number 1, and the rest of the candidates follow suit and enter sequentially." Lu Yun touched the black number plate in his hand, stood up, and walked into the small compartment. His gaze first examined the alchemy furnace. This was a small, exquisite furnace, slightly smaller than the one he had previously purchased. It was green in color, and had some residual black char inside, seemingly left behind by the previous candidate. Apart from the color difference, this alchemy furnace was even more simplistic. It had no extra space. The purified medicinal liquid had to be taken out, and could only be mixed once all purification was completed. On the small table beside it, there were delicate jade bottles which contained the medicinal liquids and pills. Additionally, there was a sheet of parchment containing the pill recipe prepared in advance, which was not to be looked at yet. On the other side, there was a small pile of spirit herbs and other auxiliary alchemy tools and materials, more than enough for their purpose. Tsk, old man Deng, if Yun Hui doesn't arrive soon, he'll truly miss his chance, Di Qing remarked playfully while looking at Deng He in the candidate seats. I'm not worried, so why should you be? Deng He replied nonchalantly, but inwardly, he was growing anxious and thought to himself, damn kid, if you don't show up, I'm going to spank you so hard when we get back. Seeing the two old men next to him on the verge of bickering again, Jiang Wen shook his head slightly. His gaze inadvertently fell on compartment number 1, where he happened to see Lu Yun. Noticing a young man participating in the alchemist examination, he couldn't help but be curious and began to observe him closely. After only a moment, he was shocked and murmured to himself, "This young man is quite a prodigy. He must be at least at the level of true Qi 9 refinements." Chapter 155. The elixir is complete, Part 2. Haha, very good. This young fellow was discovered by me on the outside, and I found him quite extraordinary at first glance. Upon a closer look, he impressed even an old man like me. His foundation is extremely solid. He's at least at the stage of true Qi 9 refinements, or even possibly the 10th stage. Di Qing said with a smile. The problem is, if this young man at this age already has such strength, and he also passes the alchemist examination, that's a bit terrifying. Even Deng He had been drawn over, and after his gaze lingered on Lu Yun for a bit, he said with a complex look, "It's beyond terrifying. He's simply a monster." Old Jiang, could this young man be a disciple from your martial academy who secretly came to join the Alchemist Alliance for fun? Di Qing suddenly asked in a mysterious manner. After reflecting for a good while, Jiang Wen finally said, "In our martial academy, there are currently only 3 outstanding individuals of this age, Bai Haoshuan, Lu Yun, and Xiao Chen. However, one believe none of them have reached the true Qi 9 refinements or 10th stage yet." B0XO. Well, that's a coincidence. This young fellow's name is also Lu Yun. Old Jiang, you don't seem to pay much attention to the talents in your martial academy. This guy is blatantly right under your nose, yet you are clueless. Di Qing said teasingly, a playful smile spreading across his faded face. Lu Yun. Jiang Wen was momentarily stunned, then his face showed embarrassment as he laughed and cursed. These youngsters are always so secretive. Usually in the martial academy you barely see them. Oh, please find a better excuse. If I'm not mistaken, most of the time they're either practicing or outside, and very rarely mingling with other students of the martial academy. Old man Deng is right, you old Jiang are always so idle. Like this time, if it weren't for the mandatory task, we might not even see you. Di Qing and Deng He, united in solidarity, criticized and revealed Jiang Wen's casual disposition without reservation. At this moment, Lu Yun was cleaning the residue inside the alchemy furnace and was unaware that he had been completely exposed to the 3 elders. However, even if he knew about it, it wouldn't matter. He didn't intend to hide, otherwise, he wouldn't have brazenly used his real name. "I hope I'm not too late." Just then a lazy voice suddenly rang out in the hall, drawing nearly half of the attention. It was a teenager dressed in white, appearing somewhat lackadaisical. His black hair was left untouched, hanging lazily around his back. His eyes, however, were incredibly clear, like the icy spring water on a snowy mountain, free of any impurities. His slightly handsome face was also adorned with a faint smile. "You scoundrel, hurry up and take your place, the assessment is about to begin." Deng He on the judging panel looked unusually angry, but the smile revealed in his eyes betrayed him completely. All right. With a slight bow of his hand, Deng Yunhui walked towards the compartment. As he passed by Di Ruling's compartment, he jovially said, "Sister Wolin, it has been a while. You've grown even more beautiful." "Get lost, I don't know you." Di Ruling waved her hand dismissively. "Sister Wolin, not only have you become more beautiful, but your heart has also become more ruthless. Now you even deny knowing me, how heartless." Deng Yunhui continued to banter, with no intention to leave. "The assessment begins now. Would all the candidates please enter the venue immediately? Otherwise, it will be regarded as an automatic withdrawal." A faint voice came from the adjudication stand. "Ha, if you dare, keep lingering around." Di Ruling blinked, openly challenging him. I'll take the opportunity to bother you again some other time." Deng Yunhui dashed into an unoccupied booth like a puff of smoke. "The assessment begins now." As soon as the words had finished, a member of the staff flipped an hourglass and the sand began to flow. The first thing Lu Yun did was scrutinize the pill recipe on the table. To his surprise, this pill recipe was for body tempering pill, which he had used before. This surprised him somewhat. Holding the pill recipe for body tempering pill, Lu Yun looked around at the other candidate. He noticed everyone around him had started to take action. However, judging by the spirit herbs they were choosing, not everyone's pill recipes were the same. Shaking his head slightly, Lu Yun then started to choose the spirit herbs according to the requirements of the pill recipe. The spirit herbs before him were of a dozen kinds. Selecting the 4 materials needed to refine the body tempering pili from these was the first test and also the simplest one. After spending a good deal of time in the book collection pavilion, Lu Yun had thoroughly memorized the characteristics and properties of various spirit grasses and spiritual fruit. Therefore, this first step did not pose a challenge to him. As for the body tempering pill, although he had yet to refine it, since his alchemy technique had reached the 2nd level, he naturally wouldn't find it too challenging. So much so, that if he was now to refine a 2nd-grade pill, he would officially become a 2nd-grade alchemist. What hindered this progression step was the pill recipe. Putting aside his thoughts, Lu Yun concentrated his mind. In a flash, the pile of spirit herbs started to move and soon 4 types of spirit herbs landed stably on the table. "This young fellow, he has such amazing control." Lu Yun's action immediately caught Di Qing's attention. If his control over true qi wasn't at a masterful level, he couldn't possibly select the 4 spirit herbs he needed with such speed and precision from the multitude of other spirit herbs. Chapter 156. The elixir is complete, Part 3. Moreover, looking around, all the other examinees were slowly rummaging through the piles of spirit herbs, not even close to Lu Yun, who with just a hint of intention, could accurately find the required spirit herbs for the pill recipe. "It seems this little fellow is definitely going to pass the exam." Deng He sighed. Jiang Wen, standing nearby, gazed at Lu Yun as if deep in thought. Seeing Lu Yun effortlessly find the target spirit herb without any physical effort, Di Ruling, who was separated from him by only a wall, had her beautiful eyes widened in astonishment. "This brother Lu Yun seems a bit extraordinary, interesting." She laughed softly and began selecting spirit herbs according to the pill recipe. B0XO. Calm alchemy is a technical skill. Selecting spirit herbs quickly does not mean that the speed of alchemy will also be fast, nor does it mean that the quality of the pill will be high. Although she couldn't compete with Lu Yun in the first part, she was confident in surpassing him in the following step. At this moment, Lu Yun was naturally unaware that his every move was being observed by 3 old-timers, nor did he realize that Di Ruling, who was just a wall apart from him, was secretly competing with him. He placed charcoal in the alchemy furnace, ignited it, and the flame began to rise. How inconvenient! It seems one need to find a fire seed as soon as possible. Lu Yun thought to himself. To become a 4th-grade alchemist, you need to reach level 4 in alchemy technique, possess pill recipes, and have your own spiritual fire. These 3 conditions are essential, and all must be met. Under the influence of pure yang aura, the flame in the furnace began to burn vigorously. Once the flame reached a certain temperature, Lu Yun moved his thoughts, and a wisp of pure yang aura swept up a spirit herb and tossed it into the furnace. After refining the first spirit herb into liquid, he lowered the heat slightly and began the purification process. In a short while, yellow impurities gradually appeared on top. As the constant purification continued, more and more impurities were removed, making the liquid in the furnace purer and more translucent. Once the purification was completed, the pure yang aura wrapped it up and Lu Yun caught it in a jade bottle. This process was repeated 3 more times. During this process, Lu Yun seemed like an old hand. Even though the properties of each spirit herb were different and required different temperatures for refinement and purification, everything seemed easy in his hands, as if there were no difficulties at all. It had something to do with his level 2 alchemy technique and his exquisite control of aggressive aura. Seeing Lu Yun effortlessly refine and purify the 4 spirit herbs, Di Ruling's delicate lips parted, and her beautiful eyes were filled with astonishment. A soft thud sounded, and a spirit herb turned to ashes due to her distraction. It's all because of that stinky Lu Yun, causing me to waste a spirit herb. Muttering in her heart, she quickly found another herb and started refining it again. This time, she dared not be distracted and continued to watch Lu Yun. If this spirit herb was wasted again, the exam would be considered a failure. After refining and purifying the 4 spirit herbs, the last step was pill condensation. Lu Yun was also proficient in this process, and under the control of the pure yang aura, there was no danger of the furnace exploding. The 4 translucent liquids fused into a new liquid which began to take shape under the heat of the flames. Time flew by, and the sand in the hourglass continued to flow, with only 2/3 remaining. At this point, most examinees had not yet completed the purification process and were starting to get nervous. During alchemy, an unstable or restless mind is a major taboo, and so soft noises continued to come from the furnaces. With his keen hearing, Lu Yun heard these noises and smiled slightly, then shifted his gaze back to the furnace. At this moment, a round pill with a faint luster and a faint pill fragrance was finally formed. It flew out of the alchemy furnace. As Lu Yun gave a light smile, the pure yang aura gently moved, and the flame inside the furnace slowly extinguished. With a flick of his fingers, the lid of the furnace opened, and a round, shimmering body tempering pill flew out. At the same time, Lu Yun gestured with his palm, and a delicate jade bottle appeared in his hand, accurately capturing the flying pili. Lu Yun gently placed the jade bottle on the table, looked at the giant hourglass in the judges' seats, and saw that only half of the sand remained. He then turned to look at the other cubicles, and noticed that the fastest person had just completed the refining process. Di Ruling, who was closest to him, looked very focused, quite different from her usual lively and energetic demeanor. Could it be that she has changed her temperament? Chapter 157. Pill Patterns. 2nd grade alchemist. The sand in the hourglass poured out like water, and time slowly slipped away. Having finished the body tempering pill in advance, Lu Yun had nothing to do for the moment, so he slowly surveyed the other examinees around him. His gaze eased off of Di Ruling, the young girl, and moved over to N0. 3 compartments examinee. Number 3 was a young man around 25 years old, now fully focused on controlling the heat and purifying the last spirit herb. At a glance, Lu Yun could tell that it was a jade skin grass, which requires a higher level of control over heat. B0XO. Too low heat would fail to refine it. Too high heat could instantly turn it to ashes. Hence, one cannot proceed with refinement and purification without strong control over the heat. Number 3 clearly understood this, and was being very careful and cautious in his operation. However, his skill level was quite low, and despite being careful and cautious, he couldn't avoid failing in the end. A faint sound marked the jade skin grass turning into ashes inside the furnace. Lu Yun shook his head slightly and turned his gaze back to the other examinees. Their alchemy skills varied greatly among the examinees, leaving Lu Yun shaking his head. Seeing this, even without upgrading my alchemy technique using energy points, my skill level is better than most people's. Finally, Lu Yun's gaze landed on N037 compartment. The examinee in the compartment was Deng Yunhui. Well, this guy has some skill. A hint of surprise spread across Lu Yun's face. In his white robe, Deng Yunhui usually appeared nonchalant and lazy, but once immersed in alchemy, he seemed to change completely, becoming more mature and steady. His movements were incredibly elegant as well. Following his smooth and seamless operation, a yellow pill full of crystalline luster formed inside the furnace. This guy may be the best alchemist among this batch. Time slowly flowed, and occasionally, a pungent smell drifted in, accompanied by sighs. The examination was nearing its end. Failing in the last condensation phase meant all the previous hard work would go to waste. As the sand in the hourglass runs out, officials collected the pills from Lu Yun and the other examinees, and presented them to the panel of judges. 15 minutes later, after the deliberation of 7 judges, Lu Yun, Deng Yunhui, Di Ruoling, and 10 others were granted the qualifications to join the Danist Union and obtained the first-grade alchemist badge. Hee Grandpa, how about that? I told you one could make a first-grade pill with ease, Di Ruoling boasted when she saw Di Qing come over. Di Qing rubbed his sweet granddaughter's head and laughed. You're so proud. Anyone who doesn't know better would think you've passed a second-grade alchemist examination. He then walked up to Lu Yun, gave him a meaningful glance, and said with a beaming smile, Kid, you're amazing. Not only do you possess incredible talent in martial arts, but your talent in alchemy is also enough to leave others in the dust. Lu Yun smiled lightly without saying anything. At that moment, Deng He and Jiang Wen also came over together. Star Palace disciple Lu Yun pays his respects to Elder Jiang. Lu Yun greeted Jiang Wen with a slight bow. Congratulations, Lu Yun, for passing the first-grade alchemist examination, Jiang Wen said with a faint smile, then asked, Do you plan to return to the Martial Academy to cultivate or stay at the Danist Union? My strength has reached a bottleneck at the moment, so one wished to stay at the Danist Union for a while to gain new insights. That's good. Jiang Wen nodded in approval, stroking his beard before saying, You've already reached the true Qi 10 refinements, haven't you? Upon hearing this, all those who had passed the examination and gained entrance to the Danist Union cast astonished and surprised gazes at Lu Yun. Well, Lu Yun hesitated for a moment, then whispered, Indeed, more or less. Jiang Wen's face burst into a smile upon hearing Lu Yun's confirmation. Haha, not bad, reaching the true Qi 10 refinements at just 13 years old. Pleased, Jiang Wen gave Lu Yun a hearty pat on the shoulder and left. Lu Yun's conversation with Jiang Wen left Di Ruoling utterly stunned. Her face was a picture of shock as she gaped at the youth standing before her, who wasn't even taller than her. On the other side, Deng Yunhui, who seemed lazy at all times except during alchemy, was now staring at Lu Yun with astonishment in his eyes. The people in the hall gawked at Lu Yun. If Lu Yun passing the first-grade alchemist examination at 13 years old could cause them amazement and astonishment, him having already attained true Qi 10 refinements leaves them utterly dumbstruck and incredulous. Even a first-grade alchemist would usually be a martial artist above the Meridian Passage realm. Naturally, they knew what true Qi 10 refinements symbolized and understood that a 13-year-old with true Qi 10 refinements meant something extraordinary. This wasn't just a genius, but a heavenly pride, even among top-tier heavenly prides. God, it's bad enough for him to overshadow us in alchemy, but his talent in martial arts makes even us untouchable. How can we even go on living?" Those who passed the first-grade alchemist exam looked at each other and shook their heads in bitter laughter. Chapter 158. Pill Patterns, Second-Grade Alchemist _2 You're quite good at hiding your true strength. But it only makes me more curious about you. Di Ruoling turned her head and looked at Lu Yun with a smile, her watery eyes full of curiosity. Feeling the gazes from all around and seeing Di Ruoling's beautiful and charming face filled with curiosity and the desire to explore, Lu Yun's heart was not filled with joy, but rather helplessness. It was all the old man's fault for exposing his martial arts realm like this. All right. Now the staff will issue first-grade alchemist badges to you all. After the badges are distributed, the 13 of you who have been granted membership into the Alchemist Union should stay behind. Di Qing waved his hand, and immediately a female staff member came forward with a jade plate containing copper badges in it. Lu Yun, does it look good on your sister? Di Ruoling placed the badge on her chest, blinked, and asked Lu Yun. B0XO. Calm after his gaze passed over her full chest, there was a touch of amazement in Lu Yun's eyes, but he quickly looked away and said indifferently, "It's fine, not bad at all." "Tisk, I've never seen someone as perfunctory as you." Di Ruoling clicked her tongue. Lu Yun spread his hands helplessly. "I'm already taking it seriously." At this moment, Di Qing came over and saw that Lu Yun and the others had already put on their badges. His face showed a kind smile. "You 13 are now members of the Alchemist Union. You will enjoy the rights and bear the corresponding obligations. People will train you in these matters, but if it's not convenient, you can also obtain a booklet titled Rights and Obligations of Alchemist Union Members to study on your own. You can leave for now. Just come and report on time tomorrow morning." Soon, everyone in the hall had left, leaving only Di Qing, Di Ruoling, and a few others. On the side, Deng He was educating Deng Yunhui. Of course, after criticizing him, he would give him praise. Seeing that Lu Yun hadn't left, Di Qing asked with a smile, "Is there anything else you need?" Lu Yun nodded with a smile and whispered, "Elder Di, one was wondering if one could continue with the second-grade alchemist's assessment?" The words fell, and the smile on Di Qing's face, who had just been smiling a moment ago, suddenly froze. "You want to apply for the second-grade alchemist assessment?" Deng He walked over with a suspicious expression, staring at Lu Yun, and asked again, "Are you sure you want to take the second-grade alchemist assessment?" "I want to give it a try." Lu Yun nodded and smiled, his face full of confidence. "Have you ever refined second-grade pills?" At this point, Deng He's face became serious. If the young man in front of him could really pass the second-grade alchemist assessment, it would completely shake the spirit martial prefecture branch. A second-grade alchemist of this age would be very rare even in the entire Ling province. Lu Yun pursed his lips and finally said seriously, "I haven't refined them, but as long as I have the pill recipe, I am 50% confident that one can refine second-grade pills." Of course, he was still quite conservative when it came to this data. Back at the Martial Academy, he had used his energy points to upgrade his alchemy technique to second level, with a progress of an astonishing 99%. With his alchemy technique almost reaching the second level limit, refining a second-grade pill would not be a problem at all. However, the conservative data in Lu Yun's view completely stunned the two sixth-grade alchemists, Deng He and Di Qing. This boy, who had never refined second-grade pills, and had not even seen a second-grade pill recipe, claimed to have a 60% chance of refining second-grade pills. Were they being deceived, or were the two sixth-grade alchemists being treated like fools? If it were someone else, they would definitely be slapped down and thrown out the door. But the person now speaking was a heavenly pride who had reached true Qi 10 refinements at the mere age of 13 and had just completed the first-grade alchemist assessment with exceptional performance. Would such a genius lie? Would he do something he wasn't sure about? Definitely not. So, when Lu Yun said he had a 60% chance of refining second-grade pills, they couldn't help but be shocked. A 60% chance? Deng Yunhui, who had always been a bit lazy and seemed like he could fall asleep at any moment, tilted his head slightly and looked at Lu Yun, murmuring in his heart, "Perhaps this guy really does have a high probability of passing the second-grade alchemist assessment. So, can I do it? If it's really impossible, I can wait a little longer," Lu Yun asked, seeing Di Qing and Deng He's silence. Feeling regretful in his heart, Lu Yun thought that if he could become a second-grade alchemist first, it would save him a lot of time. At the same time, he could also directly obtain a second-grade pill recipe for free. Unfortunately, it seems a bit difficult given the current situation. Di Qing and Deng He glanced at each other, then nodded heavily as if they had made a decision. According to the rules of the Alchemist Union, a first-grade alchemist must at least accumulate some experience before taking the second-grade alchemist assessment, and you need to provide your own pill recipe and spirit herbs. With each word that came out of Di Qing's mouth, Lu Yun's mood became more and more disheartened, especially when he heard about providing his own pill recipe. He instantly became frustrated. Provide his own pill recipe? What kind of organization is the Alchemist Union? So stingy? Just as he was furiously complaining in his heart, Di Qing's next words brought excitement to his heart once again. Chapter 159. Pill Pattern, Second Grade Alchemist _3 However, with Elder Deng He and one vouching for you, you can directly take the second grade alchemist exam, and we can provide you with a pill recipe and spirit herbs. Di Qing looked at Lu Yun, whose expression was constantly changing, and found it quite amusing. His old face unconsciously revealed a kind smile. "Thank you, Elder Di. Thank you, Elder Deng." This time, Lu Yun solemnly expressed his gratitude to the two elders. Originally, he had given up altogether, but unexpectedly a new opportunity had arisen. Not only could he directly take the exam, he could also get a second-grade pill recipe and alchemical materials for free. B0XO. Calm, kid, you must perform well and not have us old men messing around with you for nothing. Otherwise, if word gets out, we two old men will lose face. Deng He smiled at Lu Yun. I will do my best. By the way, after becoming a member of the Alchemist Guild, can I exchange for corresponding pill recipes? Lu Yun asked the question he was most concerned about. Yes, indeed. This is one of the privileges enjoyed by the members of the Alchemist Guild. The Alchemist Guild needs to mass-produce sufficient pills from Origin's army and the Martial Academy, among other places. As a member of the Alchemist Guild, while enjoying privileges, you must also undertake corresponding obligations and complete a certain amount of pill production each month. Of course, you are not working for the guild for free. If you produce the required number of pills, you can gain contribution points, which can be exchanged in the guild for pill recipes, spirit herbs, or even used to publish tasks to find the materials and treasures you need. Deng He looked at Lu Yun and smiled. Of course, the premise is that you can provide the corresponding treasures or items needed for trading. It sounds like a great deal. A smile gradually appeared on Lu Yun's face. The thought of getting the fire seeds he needed in the future through posting tasks certainly would save him a lot of time. Your paperwork for the second-grade alchemist exam is complete. Lu, come with me. Di Qing waved at Lu Yun from a distance. Hurry up. Deng He turned his head and smiled at Lu Yun. All right. Lu Yun nodded and quickly walked towards Di Qing. Di Ruoling, who was standing aside, wanted to follow them, but Deng He stopped her, saying, "The second-grade alchemist exam is different from the first-grade exam. Apart from the necessary personnel, others are not allowed in so as not to disturb. Just wait here." Grandpa Deng, 111 Just take a look from afar, one promise one won't disturb Lu Yun, Di Ruoling pleaded, tugging at Deng He's sleeve. This is the rule of the Alchemist Guild, even one can't break it. Just wait patiently. Deng He shook his head with a smile. Di Ruling's cute face flushed with frustration. She snorted discontentedly. Humph, favoritism. Didn't Grandpa and you just break the rules for Lu Yun? Why is it that you can't break them now? At her words, Deng He's face turned red and he simply chose to remain silent. Humph, it's no big deal if I don't watch. It won't be long before one take the second-grade alchemist exam. Then she walked over to the drowsy Deng Yunhui. Resentment welled up inside her. She swung out her slender leg to kick Deng Yunhui. But at the crucial moment, Deng Yunhui managed to dodge with a slight move. You little girl, you're totally unreasonable. It wasn't me who stopped you, so why take it out on me? Deng Yunhui squinted his eyes, glanced at the huffing Di Ruling, and said indifferently, Just because I don't like the look of you, what's the problem? Di Ruling curled her lips, jumped onto a chair, twisted her head to one side, and ignored Deng Yunhui. Half an hour later, Di Qing emerged from the gate. Old fellow, did the kid Lu Yun succeed or not? Deng He couldn't help but immediately asked. On the other side, Di Ruling and Deng Yunhui perked up, almost simultaneously pricking their ears and looking at the gate. Di Qing just shook his head slightly and didn't say a word for a long time. This scene immediately made Deng He frown. Did he fail? He murmured to himself, then immediately relaxed his furrowed brows, saying quietly, It's normal to fail. After all, it would be rather unfair to others if his alchemy talent would be as terrifying as his martial arts talent. Soon, Lu Yun appeared in the hall. However, he noticed that the way everyone was looking at him seemed a bit strange. Lu Yun, a moment's failure doesn't mean anything. Don't be discouraged. This is just like accumulating experience for the next assessment with me. Di Ruling gently patted Lu Yun's shoulder. Her tone was soft, trying her best to comfort Lu Yun. Nanny? Failure? Lu Yun was stunned, and from the serious and solemn look on Di Ruling's face, it seemed that there was indeed such a thing. At this moment, Di Qing, who had been silent for a while on the side, finally spoke up. This youngster's talent in pill refining is truly stunning, not inferior to his martial arts talent. All, with a sigh, he slowly took out a jade bottle from his sleeve, tilted it slightly, and a round translucent pill fell out. The pill was a meridian pill, pale yellow in color, faintly revealing a crystal luster on its surface. What was most eye-catching was the faint ripple-like pattern on its surface, like a spreading ripple. A pill pattern? Seeing the ripple-like pattern on the meridian pill, Deng He exclaimed in surprise, immediately rushed over with excitement, and snatched it from Di Qing to examine it carefully. No matter what grade of pill, there is a distinction between regular and top quality. Almost all alchemists can only refine regular pills. The pills circulating in the market are also regular pills, and top-quality pills rarely appear. Only those alchemists who control the fire to perfection, have a high level of pill refining skill, and excellent pill refining techniques can bring out the potency of the spirit herbs to the extreme. The color and luster of the pills refined by them would reach the peak, resulting in the appearance of a pill pattern, the creation of top-quality pills. And now, someone was telling him that this top-quality meridian pill with a pill pattern was actually refined by a mere 13-year-old boy. The key point is, the boy had never refined a second-grade pill before, nor had he been exposed to any pill recipes. How is this possible? Old man, don't try to deceive me, or we'll have a problem. Deng He slowly regained his composure after his initial shock, and sternly addressed Di Qing. Di Qing rolled his eyes and snorted. Why would one fool you? All the records are inside. If you don't believe it, go and check for yourself. Fine, 111 go and check. If one find out you're deceiving me, 111 teach you a lesson. After a fierce threat, Deng He hastily disappeared from the hall. On the side, Di Ruling's hand was still on Lu Yun's shoulder as if she had forgotten about it. Her beautiful eyes were blinking continuously. Who am I? Where am one? What am I doing? She had 3 questions in her mind. Only, are you okay? Lu Yun gently pulled at her sleeve, which finally made her react. You passed the second-grade alchemist assessment? Yes. There's a pill pattern on the pill you refined? A pill pattern? It seems so. Di Ruoling stared seriously at Lu Yun, then angrily said, Why didn't you say so just now? Do you think it's fun to make me a joke? Lu Yun shrugged, looking helpless. I just came out and you confused me. I didn't know what to say. Ah, you're driving me mad. Stamping her feet, Di Ruoling was enraged. Lu Yun blinked in bewilderment while watching from the side. Deng Yunhui also watched on, equally bewildered. After a while, Deng He appeared in the hall, his face flushed and bursting into laughter. Haha, a second-grade alchemist at the age of 13, and not just any alchemist, but one who can refine top-quality pills. Starting from today, the former disgrace of the Spirit Martial Prefecture is gone once and for all. Chapter 160. Treatment Yunxian Alchemist Alliance. At this time, Lu Yun was wearing a delicate black robe. According to Di Qing's description, this was the unique clothing of second-grade alchemists. The fabric was soaked in a special medicated solution, making it warm in winter and cool in summer, and also immune to some poisonous effects, making it extremely expensive. It felt incredibly soft and silky, almost like the tender skin of a woman, stirring up an indescribable sensation. The black robe gave Lu Yun an air of elegance, hiding the youthfulness on his face. B0XO. Calm as they walked through the Alchemist Alliance, the badge on his chest was striking. Although the badge was still made of bronze, it had an additional pill pattern engraved on it, making it 2 pill patterns in total. This was the symbol of a second-grade alchemist. Di Qing led him to a magnificent palace that spanned 7 floors, with a golden sign at the top. The sign bore the 3 large, flamboyant characters, Sun View Palace. This is Sun View Palace, the Alchemist Alliance's alchemy site. You will be coming here often in the future, Di Qing explained with a smile. The alchemy rooms on the first floor are for first-grade alchemists, and they are public. Due to the limited number, you have to book in advance. The alchemy rooms on the second floor are also in short supply compared to the number of second-grade alchemists in the Alchemist Alliance, so you also need to book in advance. However, as a genius, you should enjoy the treatment befitting a genius. You have the ability to refine high-quality pills and have the right to enjoy a separate alchemy room. During their conversation, they entered Sun View Palace. Greetings, Elder D. Greetings, Elder D. As soon as they entered Sun View Palace, people greeted Di Qing. At the same time, Lu Yun noticed that these people all wore a bronze badge on their chests, each with a single prominent pill pattern. Di Qing responded with a smile, and led Lu Yun directly to a counter. Elder D. A middle-aged man sitting at the counter immediately stood up and greeted Di Qing. His eyes unintentionally swept over the badge on Lu Yun's chest, causing his heart to race. Di Qing waved his hand and looked at the middle-aged man, asking, How many unoccupied alchemy rooms are on the second floor? The middle-aged man flipped through the register on the counter and quickly replied, Elder D, currently there are 2 vacant alchemy rooms, numbered 208 and 236. Di Qing glanced at Lu Yun and asked with a smile, Which one do you want? 208. Di Qing nodded indifferently, then told the middle-aged man, From now on, room 208 will no longer be a public alchemy room. Lu Yun will have the right to use it. Yes, Elder, the middle-aged man exclaimed with a slight shock, then quickly responded and handed over a token to Elder D. Di Qing took the token and nodded, then led Lu Yun to the second floor. Lu Yun noticed that each alchemy room was enclosed by a powerful prohibition, impossible to break without a certain level of strength. When they arrived at alchemy room 208, the token in Di Qing's hand flashed with light, dissipating the prohibition on the green light screen and opening the door automatically. Handing the token to Lu Yun, Di Qing reminded him with a smile, Keep this token safe in the future. It's your entry pass to the alchemy room. Lu Yun took the token and entered the alchemy room. The alchemy room was quite spacious, almost 100 square meters in size. The most eye-catching feature was a huge alchemy furnace with a deep, dark color that occasionally emitted a brilliant light. Lu Yun examined it closely for a moment, noting that the furnace body was about 5 or 6 feet tall and had an ear-shaped handle on the lid. He grabbed the handle and lifted the lid with slight force, revealing the interior of the furnace. Inside the furnace were multiple compartments, including the main cabin, isolation cabin, and refining flame cabin. Additionally, there was a cleverly designed slag discharging port. Just by examining it, Lu Yun was captivated by this alchemy furnace. Compared to this furnace, the one he had spent a fortune on was nothing. Di Qing smiled and asked, "What do you think? Are you satisfied?" "Satisfied, very satisfied." Lu Yun stroked the outer wall of the alchemy furnace as if caressing his dearest girl, completely enthralled. Seeing how infatuated Lu Yun seemed, Di Qing smiled faintly. A good alchemy furnace is essential for an alchemist, and whether one can produce high-quality pills is largely related to the furnace they use. The reason Lu Yun couldn't produce a pill pattern during his first-grade alchemist assessment was that his furnace was too poor. It didn't even have an isolation cabin, causing a significant loss of medicinal power during purification. "Alright, this alchemy room is now yours. You will have plenty of time to explore it later. Let me show you another place." Hearing this, Lu Yun nodded and reluctantly shifted his gaze from the alchemy furnace. The two left Sunview Palace and soon arrived at another palace. "This is Moon Glow Palace, where you'll receive spirit herbs and submit your pills. Let's go take a look." As they entered the main hall, a faint fragrance greeted them, refreshing Lu Yun. Di Qing led Lu Yun to the second counter and instructed the black-robed middle-aged man inside, "Steward Feng, this is the newly promoted second-grade alchemist Lu Yun. Get him his monthly portion." Chapter 161. Treatment Yunxian_2 Alright, please wait a moment, Elder D. Steward Feng turned and entered the room behind the counter promptly. Not long after, he reappeared with a sumi bag in his hand. "Alchemist Lu, this is your alchemy share for the next month, a total of 50 sets of materials, with the corresponding pill recipes included." Lu Yun nodded his head and put away the sumi bag. Having finished the final procedure with Lu Yun, they left Bright Sun Palace. B0XO. Calm. Di Qing laughed. "Haha, little guy, if there's anything you don't understand, feel free to ask me now." After pondering for a moment, Lu Yun tilted his head slightly. "Elder D, if one get 50 sets of materials every month, how many pills do I need to hand in?" "All of them. Any pills you produce in the alchemy room must be handed in without exception. You are strictly forbidden to sneak any pills out of the Alchemist Alliance. Violators will be expelled from the Alliance or their cultivation abolished, depending on the severity." Upon saying this, Di Qing suddenly stopped in his tracks, turned to Lu Yun and said earnestly, "So far, you're the most talented person I've seen in both martial arts and alchemy. Your future is boundless, so don't be foolish concerning this matter. Otherwise, no one will be able to protect you." Seeing the seriousness in Di Qing's tone and expression, Lu Yun realized he wasn't joking and immediately dropped any schemes he had in mind. But at that moment, another idea popped into Lu Yun's mind. What if one don't take the pills out of the Alchemist Alliance and just consume them myself? Lu Yun blinked at Di Qing with a questioning gaze. "That." Di Qing stroked his beard and stayed silent for a while, then said, "If you use them on yourself, that should be fine. But as an alchemist, you should be aware of the danger of pill toxicity. Don't sacrifice your foundation for short-term gains." "Yes, I understand that. One won't overuse pills to boost my cultivation, but one won't hesitate to use them when necessary." Lu Yun nodded with a smile, looking quite pleased. Seeing Lu Yun's insistence, Di Qing frowned but didn't say anything more, just giving him a final reminder. If your success rate in producing pills is consistently lower than 50% for 3 consecutive months, you'll be expelled from the Alchemist Alliance. However, I believe this shouldn't be a problem for you. After parting ways with Di Qing, Lu Yun didn't head to the alchemy room right away but left the Alchemist Alliance and walked along Vermilion Bird Street. In the end, he stopped in front of a shop on the right side of the street. Fly Cloud Pavilion? Muttering to himself, Lu Yun looked at a wooden sign hanging outside the shop with 4 crookedly written characters on it. Shop for transfer. Glancing at the desolate storefront, Lu Yun couldn't help but twitch his lips slightly. He stepped inside the shop, which was, as expected, devoid of customers. At the counter, there wasn't even a sign of the shop owner. His gaze shifted from the counter to the shelves. There were a total of 3 shelves in the shop. One smaller shelf was located behind the counter, with several scattered jade bottles on it. On both sides, 2 larger shelves stood empty and somewhat dusty, seemingly not having been cleaned in a while. Thump, thump, thump. Just then, a hurried set of footsteps echoed throughout the shop. Lu Yun's eyes fell on the staircase to the right of the counter, where he saw a boy in his early teens rushing down hurriedly. He was about 12 years old and could barely be considered having a delicate appearance. The most eye-catching feature about him was his slightly larger eyes than normal, full of lively light. "Hello, what can one help you with?" The boy stared at Lu Yu curiously with his lively eyes and asked. Looking at the boy in front of him, Lu Yun smiled. "Are you the owner of this shop?" "This shop belonged to my grandfather, but he passed away half a year ago." The boy choked back tears as he spoke. Lu Yun fell silent. The boy also lowered his head as silence enveloped the entire shop. After a long while, "I see you're considering transferring the shop?" Lu Yun suddenly broke the silence, asking softly. Upon hearing this, the boy slowly raised his head, his eyes slightly moist and filled with a hint of joy. "You're planning to take over the shop? Well, if the price is right, one could consider it. Please rest assured, the price is definitely reasonable." The boy wiped his tears and immediately began introducing. "Our Fly Cloud Pavilion is located on Vermilion Bird Street's Golden Section. When my grandfather was still with us, the shop was thriving with customers and our business was booming. If you take over, regardless of what you'll be doing," as the boy began to ramble on without addressing Lu Yun's main concern, Lu Yun interrupted him. "You don't have to say so much, one just want to know the transfer price." The boy's face turned slightly red. After some hesitation, he finally stammered, 30, no, 25 spirit crystals, what do you think?" Lu Yun shook his head slightly. "It's a bit high." 23 spirit crystals. Still too high. 22. Lu Yun still shook his head. The boy clenched his teeth. 20 spirit crystals, one can't go any lower. Lu Yun thought for a moment without haggling further. At this point, the boy anxiously stared at Lu Yun. In the quiet shop, one could faintly hear the pounding of his heart. "All right, 20 spirit crystals it is, but one have one condition." Upon hearing this, the boy's face lit up with joy and he quickly said, "What's your requirement? Just let me know." Chapter 162. Treatment. Yunxian_3 Lu Yun stared at the boy for a moment before hesitating. "I'm very busy and rarely have time, so you stay here and watch the shop for me. Of course, you won't be disappointed with the remuneration. 1 spirit crystal per month, and if you do well, it'll be even higher." "I am willing." The young man agreed without hesitation. Back when his grandfather was alive, relying on his first-grade alchemist identity, he had been running a pill shop on Vermilion Bird Street, and his life was quite comfortable. However, since his grandfather passed away 6 months ago, and without the support of an alchemist, Fly Cloud Pavilion quickly ran out of supplies and fell into decline. B0XO. Calm. Although he had often followed his grandfather's advice, it wasn't that easy to become an alchemist, and the idea of continuing to operate the shop was completely cut off. Now, not only was he able to transfer the shop, but he also obtained such a great job. He was very happy and satisfied. Without waiting for Lu Yun's instructions, the boy began to clean up the shop. Seeing this, a smile appeared on Lu Yun's face. By the way, what's your name? Boss, just call me Yun Xian. Yun Xian shyly smiled. Yun Xian. Lu Yun suddenly remembered the name of the shop he had seen outside, which seemed to be called Fly Cloud Pavilion. Well, Yun Xian, good name. Lu Yun gently patted Yun Xian's shoulder and laughed. Yun Xian, you don't have to call me boss from now on, just call me Brother Lu. Okay, Brother Lu. Yun Xian smiled happily and brightly, completely free from his previous gloom and sadness. Here are 21 spirit crystals, one of which is your remuneration for the next month. Lu Yun took out 21 spirit crystals from the sumi bag and handed them to Yun Xian. Then he went upstairs to visit the second floor. There were 4 rooms on the second floor. The room where Lu Yun was standing was quite large, with tables, cupboards, and other furniture. It was the living room. On the left-hand side of the living room was a rather narrow room with some cooking utensils neatly placed, also retaining the atmosphere of life. The door of the other room was slightly ajar. With a glance, Lu Yun knew it was Yun Xian's bedroom. There was a faint warmth on the bed, probably left by Yun Xian's practice before. Lu Yun hesitated for a moment before finally stopping in front of another room and not entering. Having returned to the first floor, Yun Xian had already cleaned the dust from the shelves and wiped them until they were bright. Brother Lu. Upon seeing Lu Yun coming down, Yun Xian quickly greeted him. Lu Yun nodded lightly and said, I'm going out for a bit, and when you're done tidying up the shop, make up another room. After giving the order, Lu Yun turned and left. Not far from Fly Cloud Pavilion, there's a shop named Green Jade Hall. Welcome, sir. What can I do for you? Upon seeing Lu Yun entering, the shopkeeper at the counter, who was sorting out the accounts, looked up and asked politely. Ganoderma snowgrass, cloud spirit flower, 3-leaf green grass, and fire lotus fruit, do you have them all here? What Lu Yun mentioned were the spirit herbs needed for refining meridian pills, which he had taken for his second-grade alchemist assessment. Yes, of course. The shopkeeper's eyes lit up, and he quickly said, How much does the customer need? Give me 30 portions each of Ganoderma snowgrass, cloud spirit flower, 3-leaf green grass, and fire lotus fruit. The proportion of the 4 spirit herbs needed to refine a furnace of meridian pills is different, but Lu Yun still asked for the same quantity. All right, please wait a moment. The shopkeeper immediately raised his voice and shouted upstairs, Shaolian, get the herbs, 30 portions each of Ganoderma snowgrass, cloud spirit flower, 3-leaf green grass, and fire lotus fruit. Okay. Before long, a woman with a gentle and charming appearance, holding 3 bags, came to the counter. Father, spirit herbs. The shopkeeper nodded and said to Lu Yun, Sir, please check if there are any problems. Lu Yun stepped forward, glanced at the items, and saw that they were indeed the spirit herbs he wanted with no issues in the quantity. How many spirit crystals? 5. Chapter 163. The Alchemy Conference, Sun View Palace. Alchemy Room 208. After leaving the Green Jade Hall, Lu Yun returned to Fly Cloud Pavilion to rest for the night. The next day, as soon as he got up, he went straight to his alchemy room. Looking at the 2 sumi bags in his hand, Lu Yun fell deep in thought. B0XO. Com 1 sumi bag contained the spirit herbs he obtained by accepting alchemy missions at the Bright Sun Palace, while the other contained the spirit herbs he had purchased at the Green Jade Hall. These are my own materials, so taking the refined pills out of the Alchemist Alliance shouldn't be a problem, right? After hesitating for a short while, Lu Yun eventually opened the sumi bag he received from Bright Sun Palace. Is this the pill recipe one need to refine the pill? Lu Yun picked up a yellow scroll, which revealed the contents of the pill recipe when it was spread out. Qi recovery pill? With a soft murmur, Lu Yun began to study the pill recipe. It simply listed the types and quantities of spirit herbs needed to refine the qi recovery pill. Although the recipe is simple, it was created through countless attempts and experience of the predecessors. Furthermore, refining a pill is not just about having a pill recipe. Without tens or hundreds of failures, success is impossible. Every pill requires different levels of control for the furnace temperature, refining, fusing, and timing. If one's alchemy technique hasn't reached a certain level of proficiency, it's impossible to succeed at refining a pill on the first try. Even for the qi-combining pill in front of him, a second-grade alchemist who has been immersed in alchemy for several years must fail at least 3 or 4 times before they can successfully refine it. However, Lu Yun was different. His alchemy technique had already reached the peak of the second level. As it was enhanced by using energy, his skill had reached the pinnacle in all aspects, including controlling the fire and other abilities, which were the maximum limit that a second-grade alchemist could achieve. With his current level, even if it's his first time refining a qi recovery pill, he has full confidence, and could even guarantee to refine a high-quality qi recovery pill with a pill pattern. Of course, there was still an element of luck involved. When he reached the furnace, Lu Yun looked around and found no materials for ignition, causing his brow to furrow. How could he refine pills without fire? He couldn't exactly breathe fire himself. At this moment, his gaze suddenly fell upon a gray stone pedestal at the base of the alchemy furnace. The round, flat pedestal was only half a foot tall, with a circular hole in the center that aligned perfectly with the furnace's bottom vent. A 1-foot-long, angular stone pillar extended from the right side of the pedestal, reaching around 3 feet in height. On the front of the stone pillar, the words Earth Fire Controller were engraved. On its surface, there was a groove in the middle with numerous fine markings on both sides, and a thick stone lever at the end. Lu Yun swept his sleeve, and a burst of pure yang aura fell on the stone lever. The lever suddenly moved more than 10 notches, and at the same time, a purple flame gushed out of the hollow hole under the alchemy furnace, instantly filling the furnace. Seeing this, Lu Yun couldn't help but show a look of curiosity. Then, he continued to use his aggressive aura to control the stone lever, carefully observing the change in the furnace temperature. Once he could control it with ease, ensuring that the furnace's temperature could be adjusted according to his will, he finally stopped. This method is not as convenient as having one's own fire seed, but it's still much more convenient than using charcoal or other fuel, Lu Yun thought as he watched the gradually extinguishing earth fire, nodding in approval. Next, he moved to a cushion on the side and sat down cross-legged, readying himself. After sitting for half an hour, feeling that his spirit had reached its peak, Lu Yun opened his eyes and prepared to start refining the pill. A burst of pure yang aura shot out, and the earth fire immediately gushed out of the round pedestal's hollow, filling the alchemy furnace. When the temperature inside the furnace felt right, Lu Yun flicked his right hand, and with a sweep of his sleeve, the furnace lid flew off and hovered in the air. With his index and middle fingers, a Ganoderma snow grass flew into the furnace from its top. Under Lu Yun's control, the stone lever began to slide, and the temperature inside the alchemy furnace gradually increased. As time passed, the Ganoderma snowgrass was completely refined, ready for cleansing. Soon, yellow impurities were extracted, leaving behind a clear, translucent medicinal liquid. Lu Yun couldn't help but smile, as he used a burst of aggressive aura to wrap around the medicinal liquid, sending it into the isolation cabin. Following that, he inserted 2 silver spirit flowers and began the process of refining and purifying them once again. After several similar attempts, all with different fire controls and refining timings, the spirit herbs were fully refined within half an hour. Lu Yun immediately mixed the 4 perfectly purified medicinal liquids according to the designated proportions before transferring them from the isolation cabin to the main chamber. Under Lu Yun's control, the lid of the alchemy furnace slammed shut, and the power of the earth fire gradually increased. The new compound medicinal liquid, formed from the fusion of 4 different proportions of medicinal liquids, began to tremble and pulsate. As time went by, the embryo of a meridian pill gradually took shape, exuding a faint pill fragrance that invigorated anyone who smelled it. But Lu Yun, who had reached the peak of the 2nd level in alchemy techniques, knew that there was still a while until the pill was fully formed. He needed to wait for the right moment to greatly increase the power of the earth fire, so that the pill would fully condense into a pill pellet. The last step would be to refine the pill using gentle heat, ultimately producing the final pill. After another half an hour, a shining, golden meridian pill floated in front of Lu Yun. Looking at the fragrant meridian pill, Lu Yun's face bore an expression of deep thought. Chapter 164. The Alchemy Conference. There's no pill pattern? When he took the 2nd grade alchemist assessment, he was able to produce meridian pills with pill patterns the first time he refined them. Now, his alchemy furnace was better, his mental state even better, and he even had refining experience. However, the final meridian pill he refined lacked a pili pattern, which undoubtedly made him quite frustrated. Humph, one can't believe that I only managed to refine top-quality meridian pills last time due to sheer luck. Feeling irritated, Lu Yun decided to refine the pills again, using the same procedure and process as before. B0XO. Calm this time, everything went smoothly as if he had divine assistance during the entire process. When he opened the furnace to collect the pill, a faint pill pattern could be seen on the meridian pill that emerged. This completely swept away Lu Yun's previous gloom, and he was greatly encouraged, with renewed confidence in refining more top-quality meridian pills. He continued to refine the pills all in one go. 2 days later, Lu Yun sat on a cushion, admiring the 15 shining meridian pills floating in front of him, his face full of satisfaction and gratification. Out of the 15 pills, 12 had faint pill patterns on them that resembled ripples, while the other 3 were no different than ordinary meridian pills. From the 15 sets of materials for meridian pilis, he produced 15 pills, with 12 of them being top-quality meridian pills. This production rate was simply terrifying and abnormal. He smiled faintly and put away the remaining spirit herbs, leaving the alchemy room to head straight to Bright Sun Palace. Alchemist Lu, how can I help you today? When Steward Feng saw Lu Yun, he greeted him with a smile. Steward Feng, one wanted to ask if I can use Sunview Palace's alchemy room to refine my own pills? Steward Feng nodded with a smile. Of course you can, as long as you ensure that your own tasks are not delayed. You can use the alchemy furnace freely, as this is one of the benefits of being a member of the Alchemist Alliance. How does the Alliance know whether the pills were made using my own materials or not, and how can they detect whether I have concealed the pill quantity and not handed them all over? Lu Yun voiced all the doubts he had in his heart. Haha, the Alchemist Alliance naturally has its methods. Steward Feng replied, smiling mysteriously. Lu Yun was slightly startled, and continued to ask, what kind of methods? Steward Feng didn't intend to conceal it from Lu Yun, and said with a smile, there is a treasure called the Remembering Stone that can record everything that happens within a certain range. Each alchemy room in Sunview Palace is equipped with a Remembering Stone, which records the amount of pills produced. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun's face changed instantly, and he silently cursed himself for not being more cautious and thoroughly investigating the alchemy room. If he had not asked Steward Feng this time, the consequences would have been unimaginable. He could just imagine the scene of him refining dozens of pills at once being played from the images on the Remembering Stone, which would cause a sensation. Even a fool could understand the implications. The more he thought about it, the more frightened he became, involuntarily breaking out in a cold sweat. Seeing Lu Yun's face growing increasingly unpleasant, Steward Feng at the counter explained, Alchemist Lu, don't worry. Only the higher-ups in the Alchemist Alliance and specific personnel can view the Remembering Stone, and it definitely won't spread. Also, the pill formulas you refine are provided by the Alliance, so there's no issue of art theft. Lu Yun knew that the other party had misunderstood him, but he didn't explain. Instead, he smiled and said, "That's true, since the formulas are provided by the Alliance, there's no fear of them leaking out. If it's my own formula, one just won't use the alchemy room to refine pills." Haha, as long as Alchemist Lu understands. Returning to Fly Cloud Pavilion, Lu Yun instructed Yun Xian not to disturb him. Then he went upstairs and entered his room. Lu Yun took out an ordinary meridian pill and a top-quality meridian pill. He planned to refine them to compare the difference between the two. First, he refined the pill without a pill pattern. Energy value +4, as expected. The energy value of the meridian pill had been reduced by half. Lu Yun was prepared for this and wasn't surprised. Immediately after, he refined the other top-quality meridian pill with the pill pattern. Energy value +5. Upon seeing the information on the panel, Lu Yun was disappointed. He had originally thought that a top-quality pill would at least increase the energy value by half, if not by an entire 100%. However, the result was only a quarter increase. After this experiment, Lu Yun lost interest in top-quality meridian pills. He collected his thoughts and focused on the panel in front of him. Name: Lu Yun Force. Flying Spirit Martial Academy Martial Arts. 7 Kill Saber Technique. Reached Profound, can't be promoted. Black Tiger Saber Technique, Perfection, can't be promoted. Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, 4th layer, 8%. Gale Thunder Flash Step, Perfection, can't be promoted. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, True Chi Chapter, reached Profound 42%. Innate Talent, Level 6 Martial Arts. True Chi Realm, refined 11 times. Energy value, 1201, automatically increases by 1 every 2 days. A concept, Slaughter Conception, first rank 47%. Alchemy Technique, second level, 99%. His gaze scanned over the Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, Slaughter Conception, and second-level Alchemy Technique, finally stopping on the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon. Promote. Swiftly, his energy value began to plummet, eventually leaving just one behind. The progress of the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon True Chi chapter dramatically leaped to reached profound 66%. At the same time, the Pure Yang aura in his Dantian quickly went through its 12th refinement. Chapter 165. The Alchemy Conference. The next day, Lu Yun woke up early. Yun Xian, these are the pills one made. Put them on the shelf. Lu Yun took out 10 bottles of pills and handed them to Yun Xian. Yun Xian took the pills and asked, "Brother Lu, what kind of pills are these?" "Oh, I almost forgot to tell you, the pills in the white jade bottle are body-tempering pills. There are 9 bottles, each priced at 2 spirit crystals. B0XO. The ones in the yellow jade bottle are meridian pills, priced at 15 spirit crystals." Upon hearing this, Yun Xian wrinkled his little face and reminded him, "Isn't the price of meridian pills typically 10 spirit crystals a bottle? The meridian pills here all have pill patterns, they are top-quality meridian pills, so naturally, they aren't priced the same as the standard ones." After explaining, Lu Yun left. Pill patterns? Top-quality meridian pills? Yun Xian was immediately stunned by Lu Yun's words. He stood there dumbfounded, not realizing that Lu Yun had already left. After leaving the Fly Cloud Pavilion, Lu Yun first went to Green Jade Hall to buy a batch of Reach Profound pill materials, and then went to the Alchemist League. "Haha, brother Lu Yun, over here." As soon as Lu Yun arrived at the Alchemist League branch, he saw Di Ruoling waving at him from afar. "Why is it this girl?" Sighing lightly, Lu Yun walked over. As always, Di Ruoling looked breathtakingly beautiful. Her light blue dress with 100-flower embroidery perfectly showcased her alluring figure. Her hair, black as a waterfall, fell onto her shoulders, adding a sense of innocence and gentleness to her. However, Lu Yun knew that her personality was very energetic, completely opposite to her gentle and innocent appearance. Hee, I've been waiting for you. When she saw Lu Yun approaching, the beautiful eyes of Di Ruoling sparkled. She looked quite pleased. Wait for me. Lu Yun pointed to himself, with a puzzled expression on his face. You were waiting here for me? Yep. Di Ruoling nodded her head like a pecking chicken, then her beautiful eyes that were clear as a pond, softly smiled at Lu Yun. Seeing this, Lu Yun had a bad feeling and took a step back immediately. He then said seriously, There's not going to be any trouble, right? I'm warning you, I can't help and I don't have time to help. Di Ruoling laughed and came over, gripping Lu Yun's sleeve. There's nothing wrong, it's nothing troublesome, and I promise it won't take much of your time. A faint virgin fragrance came, it made Lu Yun's heart stir. His pure yang aura was increasingly strong now, even if his body was not fully mature, but his heat and yang qi were becoming more and more vigorous. The slightest bit would ignite, how could he hold back? You, stay away from me first. Hee, brother Lu Yun, why are you blushing? Are you shy? While she spoke, Di Ruoling reached out her slender jade hand to Lu Yun's face. How could Lu Yun let her get her way? He immediately shook her off. In his heart, he silently recited the clear heart mantra. If the heart is clear as ice, one would not be shocked if the sky falls. Despite numerous changes, one would be unperturbed, spirited and calm. After his heart calmed down, Lu Yun asked, Tell me, what's the matter? Seeing this, Di Ruoling gave up the idea of continuing to tease Lu Yun and told her real purpose. My grandfather wanted to see you. He asked me to tell you, but I don't know where you live, so I had to wait for you here. Lu Yun gave her a glance and said annoyed, Why didn't you say so earlier? Di Ruoling smiled charmingly, looking quite alluring. That was just for fun. Don't keep grandfather waiting, come along quickly. Soon, the two of them arrived at a hall. Haha, Lu Yun, you're here. Come sit down. Seeing Lu Yun, Di Qing immediately smiled. Greetings, Elder Di. After Lu Yun showed his respects, he found a seat and sat down. At the same time, Di Ruoling brought out 2 cups of tea, one for Lu Yun and another for Di Qing, and then sat quietly off to the side. He placed the tea in front of him and then asked, Elder Di, Miss Ruoling said earlier that you wanted to speak with me? Di Qing smiled and said, Actually someone else asked for you and I am just the messenger. Another person. Lu Yun tapped his fingers on the table, pondering who could be looking for him and had enough influence to involve Di Qing. After contemplating for a while without any conclusion, he circumlocutorily asked, Elder Di, may first know who wants to meet me? No hurry, you'll find out in a bit, Elder Di replied with a mysterious smile. After 10 minutes had passed, unnoticed by anyone, an old man suddenly appeared in the living room. This old man had a face like antique bronze, eyes like bronze bells, and a pointed chin with a goat beard. He had a tall stature and broad shoulders, looking like someone in his twilight years, but his eyes were bright and his voice was powerful, like a ringing bell. Sorry for the delay, one was wrapped up in something else and didn't mean to keep you waiting. Ha, the president is always busy. Di Qing stood up and then introduced Lu Yun. Lu Yun, this is the president of our Spirit Martial Prefecture's Alchemist Alliance. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun was taken aback and promptly stood up and said, Lu Yun greets the president. Chu Feng, with his energetic gaze, landed on Lu Yun, sizing him up while frequently nodding. Your face is as fair as jade and your eyes shine like bright stars. You have a transcendent temperament. You are indeed the most gifted alchemist in our Spirit Martial Prefecture. Both in looks and talent you completely outshine the other heavenly prides in Ling Province. Lu Yun was momentarily stunned by his praise and didn't know how to respond. Grandpa Chu, what about me? Di Ruoling, carrying a cup of tea, walked over and looked at Chu Feng with a beaming smile. Chu Feng stroked his goat beard, thought for a moment and said, Young Ruoling, Not bad at all, you've grown very pretty. That's it. The original smile that was on Di Ruling's face gradually froze. What more do you want? Chu Feng took the tea with an intrigued look. Never mind. Give back my tea. Di Ruling snatched the tea out of Chu Feng's hand and huffily walked away. Ha ha ha, that girl. Chu Feng and Di Qing shared a look and then burst into laughter. After a while, their focus returned to Lu Yun. I heard from Elder Di that you managed to produce top-quality meridian pills in your second-grade alchemist assessment? Lu Yun nodded. Chu Feng continued. I also heard that you made 15 furnaces of meridian pills in the alchemy room and achieved a 0% success rate. Moreover, almost 80% of them were top quality. A spark of brilliance flashed across Lu Yun's eyes as he continued to nod. Ha ha! Chu Feng's smile broadened, and the look he gave Lu Yun became softer. President, Elder Di said you wanted to speak with me? Looking at Chu Feng's demeanor, Lu Yun became increasingly puzzled, so he asked directly. Ha ha, yes indeed. Nodding cheerfully, Chu Feng softly said, in half a year's time, the Alchemist Alliance's Ling Province headquarters will host an alchemy conference. The conference consists of 2 categories, the second grade and third grade. I think, if you are interested in alchemy and have the time, you should participate. Ling Province headquarters? An alchemy conference? Lu Yun spoke thoughtfully, not responding immediately. The alchemy conference gathers the most outstanding alchemists under the age of 25 in Ling Province and offers substantial rewards. The second-grade champions will be given an alchemy furnace as a reward, while the third-grade champions will receive a fire seed. A fire seed? Lu Yun's eyes suddenly brightened. I believe with your talent and current level, you might have a good chance of winning the second-grade championship in half a year's time. Of course, this is if you are willing to go, Chu Feng continued with a knowing smile, seeing Lu Yun's prompted interest. Go, of course I'll go, Lu Yun said, clenching his fist. Are you sure? Confident. Chapter 166. Third level of alchemy in the alchemy room. Lu Yun controlled the heat while adding spirit herbs to the alchemy furnace. According to the process of refining qi combining pills, the first thing to be put in was a large amount of true heart grass. True heart grass was the main energy source of qi combining pills. However, because it grew in dry climates with frequent sunlight, its properties were relatively dry. It needed to be refined together with moon glow grass to prevent the medicinal properties from easily dissipating. Lu Yun refined and purified the spirit herbs according to the qi combining pill recipe and their properties, ultimately fusing them together and condensing them into pills. Within 2 hours, a rich pill fragrance wafted out. B0XO. Calm looking at the pure white meridian pill in his hand, with a faint pill pattern on its surface, Lu Yun showed a slight smile. After examining it, he threw it directly into his mouth. +4 energy value, indeed, as long as it is a second-grade pill, it can be converted into energy values. However, the final transformed energy value seemed different. Although both were excellent pills with pill patterns, the energy value converted from qi combining pill was lower than that of meridian pill. Lu Yun glanced at a pure white stone in the upper right corner, smiled slightly, and immediately began refining pills again. This time, he did not plan to refine them one by one because the speed was too slow. It would take an incredibly long time to refine 50 portions of qi combining pills. After all, the distribution of qi combining pill materials by Bright Sun Palace was based on 1 furnace of pills per portion. Pure yang aggressive aura moved, and a total of 10 true heart grasses on a table beside him flew into the furnace. The raging earth fire burned, visibly refining the herbs at a fast pace, and the medicinal properties began to evaporate. At this moment, several moon glow grasses flew into the furnace, pulling back the evaporating medicinal properties. Refinement, purification. Refining a furnace of qi combining pills all at once took more time. It also required more careful and cautious handling, because, during the fusion of so many spiritual liquids, the powerful energy collision would make the furnace explode easily. Luckily, Lu Yun's spiritual power was far stronger than that of martial artists of the same level. His control of pure yang aggressive aura reached an extremely fine level, making the handling process very smooth. At the moment of fusion, the powerful energy collision was suppressed by him. Time slowly passed, and suddenly a rich pill fragrance escaped from the furnace. The fragrance was much stronger than when he had refined pills individually. As Lu Yun controlled the alchemy furnace's temperature, it changed continuously. The temperature slowly rose, then gradually decreased after about 10 minutes. "Come out!" At the critical moment, Lu Yun shouted loudly and waved his sleeve, causing the furnace lid to fly off with a bang. 10 bright white lights soared into the sky, appearing instantaneously in the alchemy room. As they were about to scatter in all directions, they were controlled by a force and floated slowly in front of Lu Yun. Lu Yun saw the 12 plump, round qi combining pills with pure white bodies turning in front of him. On 3 of the qi combining pills, there was an incomparably pure white and crystal clear luster, each with a pill pattern. A success rate of 100%, an excellent rate of 30%, not bad. Lu Yun muttered to himself, and with a slight movement of his right hand, the light of 9 pills flashed and entered 2 prepared jade bottles. As for the remaining pill, he put it into his mouth. +4 energy value. Refining such a furnace of qi combining pills consumed a lot of spiritual power and pure yang aggressive aura. Even with the remembering stone, Lu Yun dared to take them openly. After a short rest, Lu Yun continued refining. In just under 5 days, Lu Yun had refined all 50 portions of the qi combining pill materials. Leaving the alchemy room, he went to Bright Sun Palace. "Steward Feng, have finished refining the pills. Please take a look." Lu Yun waved his sleeve, and 43 bottles of qi combining pills appeared on the counter. Steward Feng looked at the jade bottles that almost filled the entire counter, and was a bit dumbfounded for a moment. There are so many?" Lu Yun nodded and smiled. "There should have been more, but one consumed some part way through because of excessive consumption. This shouldn't be a big problem, right?" No problem. Steward Feng began to open the jade bottles one by one and inspect them. In the first jade bottle, there were 10 plump, round, pure white qi combining pills. The second jade bottle was the same. So was the 35th. When he opened the 36th jade bottle, his pupils suddenly dilated. A faint pill fragrance wafted out, and the 10 pills lying in the jade bottle had pure white bodies, emitting a crystal-clear luster. Steward Feng carefully poured them out. The 10 plump and round pills had faint halos on them, looking like beautiful pieces of art. They felt extremely smooth and comfortable to the touch. "Pill patterns, all of them have pill patterns." Steward Feng put the pills back into the jade bottle excitedly and said, "Incredible, simply incredible. Alchemist Lu just passed the 2nd grade alchemist examination and can already refine excellent quality qi combining pills with pill patterns. It's really admirable." "Steward Feng, there are a few more bottles you haven't checked yet," Lu Yun said with a light laugh. Indeed. Steward Feng calmed his excited emotions and continued to inspect the next bottle. As expected, his emotions were once again stirred up. "This bottle is full of excellent pills, too." He opened another bottle, and it was also full of excellent pills. Steward Feng was now speechless to describe his emotions. Chapter 167. Alchemy Level 3_2 Ever since he was assigned to manage the pill quotas for the 2nd grade alchemists, he had received high-quality pills just a few times. What is a high-quality pill? A high-quality pill does not simply have a pill pattern. Regular pills, during the process of refinement, may still contain impurities which are not completely removed, resulting in a minor amount of remaining impurities. When a martial artist ingests such a pill, not only is the speed of refining it slow, but the body can also accumulate toxicity from the pill. B0XO. Calm, however, a high-quality pill has almost all its impurities refined away. It's not only easier for martial artists to refine, but its toxicity is also relatively less, hence it doesn't easily increase a martial artist's resistance to medicine. Among second-grade alchemists, there are those who can refine high-quality qi combining pills as well as other second-grade pills. However, like Lu Yun, there are very few who can submit such a large number of them at once. Moreover, some second-grade alchemists, after creating high-quality pills, don't submit them but directly consume them instead. Especially the meridian pills, which could improve cultivation, nearly all alchemists will consume them in the alchemy room. After inspecting the last bottle of qi combining pills, Steward Feng was completely numb and his facial expression had become stiff. Steward Feng took out a register, found the page related to Lu Yun, and began to record. This month, alchemist Lu collected 50 sets of qi combining pill materials, should have submitted 20 bottles of qi combining pills, but he actually submitted 43. Among them, 7 bottles were high-quality qi combining pills, thus he should earn 444 pill merits this month. Seeing all of this, Lu Yun squinted his eyes. Steward Feng, can you explain what these pill merits are? Having recorded the information, Steward Feng closed the record book. He smiled slightly and explained, the Alchemy Guild doesn't expect alchemists to work for nothing. That would mean that no one would want to join the guild, that's why a pill merit system was fashioned. With pill merits, alchemists can exchange them within the Alchemist Guild for various pill recipes and alchemy materials such as spirit fruits and grass. Regarding the qi combining pills that you, Alchemist Lu, had just submitted, one bottle is worth 10 pill merits. The high-quality ones are worth 12 merits each. If you were to make third-grade pills, you'd get more pill merits. Lu Yun furrowed his brows and continued, different second-grade pills have different levels of difficulty to create, so would the pill merits awarded also be different? Of course, they're different, but the differences aren't major. I see. Lu Yun nodded slightly and asked again, how many alchemy materials can one exchange for with the pill merits I've earned now? At his question, Steward Feng's right hand motioned slightly, and a booklet appeared in his hand. It was labeled Pill Merit Usage Manual. Please have a look, Alchemist Lu. Lu Yun took the booklet and started to browse through it. After a short while, Lu Yun closed it and smiled. Steward Feng, I'll exchange for 2 sets of meridian pills refining materials first. Additionally, gift this manual to me, okay? His original intention was to see if he could exchange for a third-grade pill recipe. However, even the cheapest third-grade pill recipe required 10,000 pill merits for exchange. The pill recipe for Profound Origin pill required even more, 12,000 pill merit. Smiling helplessly, Lu Yun took a step back and decided to exchange for 2 sets of meridian pills refining materials first. Haha, of course, there's no problem. Immediately, Steward Feng turned around to enter the room behind the counter. A few moments later, he came out holding 2 sets of meridian pills materials. Alchemist Lu, please give me your badge for a moment. Handing the materials to Lu Yun, Steward Feng requested with a smile. Although Lu Yun was confused, he still took off his badge from his chest and handed it over. Half an hour later, Steward Feng returned the badge to Lu Yun. Alchemist Lu, from now on, this badge not only represents your identity as a second-grade alchemist, but also your authority to carry out transactions at the Alchemist Guild. Originally, your badge should have 444 pill merits. But now, since you just exchanged for the materials for 2 meridian pills, subtracting 400 points, you only have 44 pill merits left in it. Lu Yun received it and inspected it slightly. Indeed, there were 44 pill merits marked on the badge. Thanks, Steward Feng, I'll take my leave now. Straight away, he returned to the alchemy room, refined the 2 sets of materials in hand into pills, then prepared to return to the Fly Cloud Pavilion. In Vermilion Bird Street, excluding the few taverns and inns, most of the shops had already closed, giving off a slightly deserted look. Fly Cloud Pavilion was still brightly lit. There were no customers in the shop, only a person, staring blankly from behind the counter. Seeing Lu Yun, the person immediately greeted him. "Brother Lu, you're finally back." A slight smile appeared on Lu Yun's face. "It's so late, why haven't you closed yet?" At his question, a look of embarrassment emerged on the other's face, who then guiltily said, "Brother Lu, I'm sorry. Up until now, I haven't been able to sell a single first-grade pill. I'm just too incompetent." Lu Yun swept his gaze across, and true enough, a few lonely jade bottles were still displayed on the shelf as before. When compared with the items he left before, the amount had neither increased nor decreased. "It's alright. It's normal for no customers to want to buy any when we only have a few pills on offer. Wait until we fill the shelves with pills, customers will come." Lu patted the other's shoulder and laughed. "You should close up and rest early." Seeing that Lu Yun didn't blame him at all, the other's heart was filled with gratitude and self-reproach. He was silently swearing to himself that he must manage Fly Cloud Pavilion properly. After Lu Yun went back to his room, he laughed lightly and quickly forgot about what had just transpired. This Fly Cloud Pavilion was just a facade for him, and he didn't care much about it. Whether or not it could be operated normally, it didn't matter to him. Chapter 168. Alchemy Technique Level 33. Let's see how much energy value I've earned this time. Lu Yun sat cross-legged on the bed and opened the panel. Energy value. 317. 1 energy value automatically increases every 2 days. Looking at the low energy value on the panel, Lu Yun felt a bit helpless. In the alchemy room, he occasionally had top-quality qi combining pills like candy, eating up 7 bottles of high-quality qi combining pills in total. Unexpectedly, the energy value he received was still so low. B0XO. Calm, shaking his head slightly, he took out 2 bottles of meridian pills that had just come out of the furnace not long ago. After the full refinement, the energy value reached. Energy value, 411, 1 energy value automatically increases every 2 days. He focused on the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon True Qi chapter, without hesitation, and muttered in his heart, "Upgrade." Night. Alchemist Union. Chu Feng held a delicate jade mirror in his hand, with faint lines engraved on the edge and shimmering mysterious purple light. In the mirror was a silent, still image. It was a closed room, rather dark, and the massive alchemy furnace inside was extremely eye-catching. Chu Feng formed hand seals, and a ball of light dropped on the mirror surface. The image in the mirror quickly played backward, finally stopping at the moment when the alchemy room door was opened. Changing his hand gesture, Chu Feng played the still image at 4 to 5 times the speed. At this moment, a young man entered the alchemy room, activated the earth fire, and began refining pills. Not long after, the pill furnace opened with a pure white, faint halo on the surface of the pill. The young man scrutinized it and then threw it directly into his mouth. Seeing this scene, Chu Feng was taken aback. "This kid, taking the first pill for himself, is this how you freeload? And he's doing it so brazenly. Does he think nobody would know with the remembering stone around?" The video continued to play, showing the young man taking the pill, then looking in his direction with a smile. Arrogant, simply too arrogant. Chu Feng was so upset that he wanted to drag the boy out and beat him up. Obviously, this kid knew there was a remembering stone, yet he still dared to steal the pills. Because refining pills would inevitably cause some loss, it was normal for alchemists to take a few pills to replenish themselves during the process. This was not prohibited by the Alchemist Union. However, the pill consumption by the boy in the video was too excessive. There couldn't be any loss just after opening the furnace. Even if there was some loss, taking the first pill was justifiable. But making such a gesture in the direction of the remembering stone, if this wasn't a provocation, Then what was it? Chu Feng was furious and wanted to beat up the boy. No, I must endure it for the sake of your refining top-quality pills in your very first attempt. Even if I can't endure it, I must forcefully hold back. His fists clenched tightly, and a strong aura radiated from him, causing a buzz in the surrounding air. The silent images in the mirror continued to play at high speed, and under Chu Feng's control, it reached 15 times the speed. At this speed, ordinary people might not be able to see anything. However, for Chu Feng, a level 6 alchemist, everything appeared crystal clear, and not a single detail escaped his eyes. Not bad. The refining and purification process is very smooth. Only those with extremely high control over their true qi can achieve such a level, and they can do so without wasting spirit herbs. As Chu Feng watched the boy's smooth alchemy process, he enjoyed it and gave some comment. It's the crucial moment. Chu Feng's hands moved slightly, and the image in the mirror slowed down, gradually becoming 10 times the speed. The boy was seen controlling the fire with one hand and the merging of the medicinal liquid in the alchemy furnace with the other. At such a critical moment, even some veteran alchemists would become extremely cautious and careful, fearing that the furnace might explode. However, the boy remained calm throughout, and his manipulation was as smooth as ever, making it all look like a performance, pleasing to the eyes. TSK, this kid's skill in controlling fire and pill condensation is not inferior to those third-grade alchemists. Unknowingly, Chu Feng's anger dissipated, and what took its place was admiration and praise. Suddenly, the pill furnace opened and 12 beams of light rushed out of it, hovering in front of the young man. At this point, Chu Feng immediately paused the image, with his eyes falling on the 12 plump, lustrous, pure white pills with faint halos. When he noticed the other 3 high-quality pills with faint halos, his excitement intensified. A success rate of 100% and a high-quality rate of 30%. Good. The ability to elicit 3 good words from Chu Feng, a level 6 alchemist, showed just how outstanding these results were. The video resumed playing, and the young man took 1 pill, a high-quality one with a pill pattern. The scene instantly made the previously excited Chu Feng twitch at the corner of his mouth. Although excessive, one can bear it. Not long after, another batch of pills came out of the furnace. The success rate was still a terrifying 100%, and the high-quality rate had reached 40%. However, this time, the young man in the video was even more excessive, directly eating 2 high-quality pills like candy. Hold it in. Hold it in again. Hold it in once more. In the end, Chu Feng went numb, put away the jade mirror, left the room, and told a disciple, "Tell the Bright Sun Palace to double the monthly pill refining quota for Lu Yun from now on." Late at night. Fly Cloud Pavilion. Name: Lu Yun. Power: Flying Spirit Martial Academy Martial Arts. 7 Kill Saber Technique, Reach Profound, unable to upgrade. Black Tiger Saber Technique, Perfection, unable to upgrade. Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, 4th layer, 8% completion. Gale Thunder Flash Step, Perfection, unable to upgrade. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon True Chi Chapter, Reach Profound, 74% completion. Innate Talent, Level 6 Martial Arts. True Chi Realm, refined 11 times. Energy Value, 41, 1 Energy Value. Automatically increases every 2 days. Conception. Slaughter Conception, first rank, 47% completion. Pill Refining Technique, Level 3, 1% completion. Only have 41 energy value left? Lu Yun stroked his chin. Without enough pills, his strength improved too slowly, and since the time was spent on refining pills, his other martial arts showed little progress. Only his pill refining technique broke through the bottleneck to level 3. It seems that I can't slack off on managing Fly Cloud Pavilion and need to run it well. For him, the energy value gained from refining pills that didn't match his level was limited. It was better to sell them and convert them into spirit crystals instead. Then he could use the spirit crystals to purchase new spirit herbs, maximizing their utility. Chapter 169. Aggressive Aura Limit, Root Bone Enhancement. The next day, as soon as Lu Yun arrived at Bright Sun Palace, he was informed by Steward Feng that his monthly pill refining quota had been forcibly doubled. Upon hearing this news, Lu Yun was somewhat astonished. The purpose of his visit this time was to request more pill refining quotas. However, he never expected that, without even having to ask for it, his quota would be increased by force. It's impossible for him not to be excited about this. B0XO. Calm, Steward Feng. Actually, it would be better to triple or quadruple it. I feel that one can handle it, Lu Yu said earnestly, his eyes wide with anticipation. Upon hearing this, Steward Feng's face instantly changed to one of surprise, but it immediately transformed into a smile. He knew very well about Lu Yun's success rate in pill refining. Ha ha ha, of course you can, Alchemist Lu. How many quotas do you want? He asked. Can one have any number one want? As long as Alchemist Lu guarantees that it won't go to waste, I can decide on any number below 500, Steward Feng replied. After some thought, Lu Yun responded, Fine, I'll take 500. Alright, give me the sumi bag you gave me last time. Without any hesitation, Lu Yun handed over a purple-colored sumi bag to the other party. Half a tea later, Steward Feng solemnly introduced to Lu Yun, This time you will be refining life essence pills, a type of second-grade pill specifically for healing external injuries caused by swords and other weapons. There are a total of 500 portions, and the pill recipe for life essence pill is also included. Thank you, Steward Feng. I'll be sure to satisfy you, Lu Yun saluted and took his leave. After using the token to unlock the prohibition on Alchemy Room 208, Lu Yun could hardly wait to close the door and start refining the pills. Now, his pill refining technique had been upgraded to level 3, and refining second-grade pills naturally became much easier. Just an hour later, a batch of pills came out of alchemy. His success rate was an astonishing 100%, with 2/5 of them being high-quality pills. Nevertheless, he still followed his previous routine, consuming a few high-quality pills after finishing each batch of pill refining. Even though there was a remembering stone inside the alchemy room. In a blink of an eye, a month had passed. Lu Yun walked out of the alchemy room with a gloomy face, having refined pills non-stop for a whole month. If it were someone else, they would have given up long ago. Fortunately, in terms of spirit, physical strength, and even the pure yang aura, Lu Yun far surpassed other alchemists of the same rank. Working non-stop for a month, apart from slightly messy hair and a somewhat marked face, his eyes still sparkled with vitality, not much different from other times. Just after leaving Sun View Palace, he ran into a long-lost acquaintance. Lu Yu saw a yellow-clothed girl approaching him. Her black hair fluttered in the breeze, and even though her skin was as white as snow, it glowed under the gentle sunlight. Her eyes resembled a clear pool of water, and as soon as she saw Lu Yun, her gaze lingered on his face. After 3 or 4 breaths of time, her lovely lips curled into a smile, and she couldn't help but laugh. Ha 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 ha, Lu Yun, how did you become like this? Did your pill furnace explode? She asked. There's no way that could happen. My skills wouldn't allow for such a thing, Lu Yun immediately refuted, but it seemed a bit hollow. Seeing this, Di Ruoling laughed even more joyously, her lips smiling, her beautiful eyes laughing like ripples in the water, and the adorable dimples on her jade face smiling too. Humph, have you had enough laughter? If you're done laughing, get out of my way, don't block my path, Lu Yun said coldly, acting as if he was about to leave. Hey, don't go, let me look at you for a while longer. Di Ruoling quickly blocked Lu Yun's way, with her hands behind her back, bouncing around him in a circle. Her eyes finally rested on Lu Yun's handsome, elegant face with a few marks. Humph, have you seen enough? Lu Yun shook his sleeves and walked away from her, running off as if escaping. Ha 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 ha, Lu Yun, you look so cute like this. Di Ruoling laughed uncontrollably, clutching her stomach, as she watched Lu Yun leave in a huff. Only after completely walking away did Lu Yun let out a sigh of relief. Had he not run fast just now, he would have almost lost his composure. It's all because of this damned pure yang martial arts canon and this damned puberty, he muttered under his breath, and then sped up his pace towards the bright sun palace. Haha, Alchemist Lu, long time no see. How many of the 500 life essence pills are completed? Steward Feng smiled and asked when he saw Lu Yun. Without any politeness, Lu Yun took out a sumi bag and placed it on the counter. Steward Feng, all of the life essence pills are here. You can check them and see if there are any issues. Upon hearing this, Steward Feng was instantly taken aback. You finished all of them so quickly? Whispering to himself, Steward Feng took the sumi bag and began checking the pills one by one. Gradually, a smile spread across his face. An hour later, Lu Yun left satisfied after receiving his sumi bag. Upon returning to Fly Cloud Pavilion, Lu Yun took a good bath before finally going to bed. He slept for a full day and night and had a simple meal afterward. Then, he instructed Cloud Railing not to disturb him and returned to his room. He sat cross-legged on his bed and focused his mind. Energy value, 3,750, increase by 1 every 2 days, pill refining technique, level 3, 12%. After a month of pill refining, his energy value had once again broken 1,000, reaching 3,750. In addition, his pill refining technique had been upgraded to level 3 at 12%. I can upgrade the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon True Chi Chapter to its limit, Lu Yun exclaimed and concentrated on upgrading the True Chi chapter of the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon. Chapter 170. Limit of Aggressive Aura, Innate Talent Upgrade. Upgrade. Consuming 500 energy values. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon upgrading to Consuming. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon upgrading to Perceive Truth Realm. A figure appears in Lu Yun's mind. B0XO. He continuously practices Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon True Chi chapter. 1 day passes. 2 days pass. 1 month passes. 1 year passes. Finally, one day, the True Chi chapter of the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon has been practiced to its limit, reaching a state where it can no longer progress. After digesting the memory, Lu Yun finds that Pure Yang aura in his dantian has been completely refined. Finally, 12 times refining of Pure Yang aura is completed. The next step is to transform the aura into origin and advance to the transforming origin realm. Currently, Lu Yun has reached the pinnacle of the True Chi realm. If he wants to continue improving his strength in this realm, he can only advance through saber techniques and martial arts conception. However, even so, he feels that an ordinary martial artist in the late stage of the transforming origin realm would not be a match for his single strike. This is the confidence brought by the Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, the Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, and the Slaughter Conception to Lu Yun. Suddenly, as if remembering something, Lu Yun opens the panel again. Name: Lu Yun Force. Flying Spirit Martial Academy Martial Arts. 7 Kill Saber Technique, Reach Profound, cannot be upgraded. Black Tiger Saber Technique, Perfection, cannot be upgraded. Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, 4th Layer, 8%. Gale Thunder Flash Step, Perfection, cannot be upgraded. Pure Yang Martial Arts Canon, True Chi Chapter, Perceive Truth. Innate Talent. Level 7 Martial Arts, the limit of True Chi Realm, 12 times refined. Energy value, 2,450, increased by 1 per day. Conception, Slaughter Conception, first rank 47%. Pill Refining Technique. Level 3, 12%. My innate talent has indeed increased. Looking at the innate talent on the panel, Lu Yun can't help but feel overjoyed. Last time, after practicing Pure Yang Aura to the Perceived Truth Realm, His talent was upgraded from level 5 to level 6. This time, after the True Qi chapter of the Pure Yang martial arts canon was upgraded to Perceive Truth Realm, his innate talent was upgraded once again, proving his conjecture. The next step is to fuse martial arts and deduce the Transforming Origin chapter of the Pure Yang martial arts canon. When it is upgraded to the Perceive Truth Realm, my innate talent will continue to rise. Moreover, the increase of innate talent and realm will increase the speed of energy value accumulation. I'm getting more and more excited. Thinking about this, the smile on Lu Yun's face grows even more. However, he quickly calms down and starts pondering, touching his chin. After advancing to the Transforming Origin realm, the efficiency of obtaining energy values will be greatly reduced. One have to suppress it for a while and then break through when there's enough energy value. So, the next task is still pill refining. The energy value from converting a second-grade pill is too low. After obtaining enough pill merits, I'll exchange them for a third-grade pill recipe first. In a short while, Lu Yun sets his next goal. The first step is to improve his pill refining technique. As the higher the refining technique, the more efficient his pill refining will be. Pill refining technique. Level 3, 12%. Upgrade. Lu Yun directly consumes 500 energy values. The next moment, a figure is frantically refining pills in his mind. 1 day passes. 2 days pass. Half a year passes. At last, Lu Yun feels his brain becoming clearer, and his understanding of spirit herbs, spirit grasses and pills become more thorough. Pill refining technique, level 3, 32%. It only takes 25 energy values to upgrade 1 percentage point. Lu Yun grits his teeth and continues to upgrade. This time, Lu Yun directly consumes 1,000 energy values. This is the limit that his body can bear at the moment. At the moment of energy consumption, he feels himself entering an extremely profound state. He doesn't know how long it has been, but when he wakes up again, he seems to be sublimated, in better condition than before, as if he can stay awake for 3 months without any problems. Conception, slaughter conception, first rank 57%. Pill refining technique. Level 3, 72%. The slaughter conception suddenly improved by 10 percentage points? Looking at the information that suddenly appeared on the panel, he has a hunch in his heart. Is it possible that upgrading pill refining technique also improves my spiritual power? As for whether it does or not, it still needs further verification in the future. Lu Yun knows that martial arts conception and spiritual power are closely related. When the spiritual power increases, it has a certain benefit in improving martial arts conception. But whether an alchemist upgrade can improve spiritual power, Lu Yun is not very clear about. As for spiritual power, he only has a vague sense, and there's no quantitative standard. Continue upgrading. After all the energy values are consumed, the pill refining technique is finally upgraded to the limit of level 3. One wonder how high the rate of fine-patterned pill production will be when refining second-grade pills now? With this question in mind, Lu Yun starts walking towards the Alchemist Union. Entering the alchemy room, he doesn't adjust his state, just starts refining pills right away. With the pill refining technique upgraded to the limit of level 3, the speed and efficiency of Lu Yun's pill refining are indeed greatly improved. It takes him more than half a month to refine 500 sets of materials, and only 1 set of materials is destroyed. At the same time, fine-patterned pills with pill patterns account for a terrifying half. Besides, his energy value skyrockets to 2853, the pill refining technique breakthrough bottleneck, reaching level 42%. It's time to exchange for a third-grade pill recipe. Lu Yun smiles faintly, his figure flashes, and disappears in the alchemy room. Steward Feng Embark. At the Bright Sun Palace, in front of counter number 2, Lu Yun laughs and passes the sumi bag over. Chapter 171. Limit of Gang Energy, upgrade of root bone _3, it's been just over half a month, and you've finished refining already? Steward Feng took the sumi bag with some disbelief. It seems my alchemy technique has improved, so the efficiency is higher. Lu Yun casually brushed off, then urged, Steward Feng, please check quickly and see how many pill merits I can earn this time. Alright, let me see. With that, Steward Feng began to scrutinize each item. As for Lu Yun, he no longer regarded him as a normal person, so he had mentally prepared himself. B0XO. Calm, but when he realized that there were as many as 488 bottles of pills, and nearly half of them were quality pills with pill patterns, his calm mind could no longer remain tranquil. Alchemist Lu, your talent for pill refining is the most terrifying I've seen so far. In the end, he let out a long sigh and began to record in the register. Lu Yun picked up 500 portions of bone regeneration pill materials this month, should hand over 250 bottles of bone regeneration pills. Actual submission is 488 bottles, of which 240 are quality bone regeneration pills, earning 5,848 pill merits. After registering truthfully, he felt refreshed and relaxed. Just after stretching lazily, he saw Lu Yun had already placed his badge in front of him. Seeing this, Steward Feng could only give a bitter smile, took his badge and asked, Alchemist Lu, do you want to pick up another batch of materials? No need. Lu Yun immediately refused without even thinking. That's fine, no matter how passionate you are about alchemy, it's important to rest. Combine work and rest, and your alchemy technique will improve quickly. Steward Feng misinterprets, I plan to prepare for the third-grade alchemist exams next. After passing, I will start refining third-grade pills, Lu Yun explained, adding another sentence, second-grade pills are too simple, they offer no challenge. Upon hearing this, Steward Feng, who had just left, stumbled and almost had a close contact with the door frame. Seeing this, Lu Yun gave a faint smile. Not much long after, Steward Feng came back. Well, you have already exceeded 10,000 pill merits, you can exchange them for a third-grade pill recipe. After exchanging the badge with Lu Yun, Steward Feng smiled. Alchemist Lu, one hope you can successfully pass the examination. Thank you, Steward Feng, for your care during this period. Lu Yun sincerely thanked him, then asked, by the way, where can one exchange for the third-grade pill recipe? Turn right, about 10 or so feet away is counter number 3. Find Steward Lu there to make the exchange. Alright, I'll leave now. After not walking far, he saw counter number 3 indeed. The man on duty at counter N03 was an elderly man in a black robe, having his hair carefully combed without a strand out of place, indicating his meticulous personality. Seeing the pair of deep-set, dark brown eyes, Lu Yun realized that this man probably wasn't as easy to get along with as Steward Feng. Sighing to himself, Lu Yun still approached. Hello, Steward Lu. The black-robed Steward Lu glanced at Lu Yun and asked formally, How can I assist you? I'd like to trouble Steward Lu to exchange a void cleansing pill recipe for me. Race my badge. Lu Yun currently had a total of 10,500 pill merits, and could only exchange for the cheapest third-grade pill recipe. As for the profound origin pill recipe, it required 12,000 pill merits to exchange. Wait a moment. Steward Lu didn't speak much and showed no emotional fluctuation. He didn't even question why such a young man had a second-grade alchemist's badge, or why he was potent enough to exchange for a third-grade pill recipe. Chapter 172. Returning to the Martial Institute, unrivaled attitude. After obtaining the void cleansing pill recipe, Lu Yun immediately applied for the third-grade alchemist assessment. The assessment for third-grade alchemists was of a much higher level than that of second-grade alchemists, overseen by several fifth-grade alchemists, and even Di Qing and Deng He, both sixth-grade alchemists, appeared on the scene. Old man, do you think this kid Lu Yun can really pass the third-grade alchemist assessment? It's not a joke, is it? Deng He asked skeptically. Di Qing glanced at him and calmly replied, "Do you know his success rate at concocting second-grade pills? And what about his rate of producing top-quality pills?" "He's not my grandson, how would I know that?" Deng He snorted, then suddenly reacted and looked at Di Qing strangely. "Do you know something I don't? Old man, come on, tell me." B0XO. Calm. Di Qing stroked his grizzled beard and chuckled. "Last time, the president had a meeting with Lu Yun and talked about the alchemy conference. He mentioned in passing." Di Qing suddenly stopped halfway, and Deng He couldn't help urging him. "What did he mention? Say it quickly." "A success rate of 100% and a top-quality pill rate of 30%. Upon hearing this, Deng He's body trembled involuntarily. He then looked at Lu Yun with deep curiosity. At this moment, Lu Yun had already completed the refinement and purification of the various materials for the void cleansing pill. The void cleansing pill was a type of third-grade pill that mainly restores injuries and accelerates wound healing, requiring nearly 10 different ingredients. If it were any ordinary alchemist, refining and purifying the ingredients would take about an hour without the help of a Yao child. However, Lu Yun made it look effortless and finished the refinement and purification quickly before moving on to the fusion process. For others, this would be like waging an intense battle against surging energy, requiring full concentration and complete immersion in the process. One wrong step could result in the furnace exploding. But under Lu Yun's operation, his actions flowed like water, and his posture was elegant and relaxed, like an artistic performance that was both dazzling and effortless to watch. At this moment, Lu Yun's performance in front of the alchemy furnace made Deng He, a sixth-grade alchemist, feel as if he were witnessing a peer, deeply shaken by what he saw. This kid has never made a third-grade pill before, but looking at his movements and demeanor, it's as if he's made hundreds of them already. He doesn't have any lapses, and the whole process seems effortless to him, Deng He said incredulously as he stared at Lu Yun. Di Qing stroked his beard and nodded with a smile, as if he completely agreed with Deng He's words. In truth, Deng He was not wrong about Lu Yun. The process of using energy to enhance his alchemy technique was like a memory transfusion or a form of irrigation. In his memory, he had actually made countless pills and experienced many failures before learning from them, which now made the pill-making process seem incredibly natural to him. After raising his alchemy technique to level 4, concocting third-grade pills had become even easier for him. As he continued refining, the reactions inside the alchemy furnace became more intense. Before long, condense. With Lu Yun's shout, a wave of formidable spiritual power and pure yang aura penetrated the furnace simultaneously, instantly solidifying the translucent liquid filled with potent energy. An overwhelming wave of spiritual energy surged into the furnace, almost creating a small storm of spiritual energy. At the same time, the heat within the furnace soared as though stimulated by something, causing it to burn fiercely. Eventually, under the astonished gazes of many alchemists, a brilliant light erupted within the alchemy room as a faint, intoxicating pill fragrance wafted out, invigorating everyone in its path. "The pills are ready?" someone couldn't help exclaiming. From the start of the alchemical process until now, not even 2 hours had passed. This speed was comparable to the most elite third-grade alchemist. With a flick of his sleeve, a vigorous pure yang aura erupted from Lu Yun, and the furnace emitted a roaring sound as the lid suddenly opened. 10 rays of light shot out and an intense pill fragrance instantly permeated the entire alchemy room. Drip, drop. A total of 10 brilliant, radiant pills floated in the air, casting dazzling light around the room. After several breaths, their glow gradually receded, revealing their true forms. Di Qing, Deng He, and others stared intently at the 4 transparent, gleaming void-cleansing pills. "I can't believe my eyes. Out of one furnace containing 10 pills, 4 of them are top quality with pill patterns. Everyone was in disbelief that Lu Yun could achieve a 100% success rate and produce 4 top-quality pills during his first attempt at making a third-grade pill. However, when they looked at the handsome young man standing there, everything seemed as though it couldn't be more normal. This was because, ever since this young man had joined the Alchemist Alliance, everything that seemed impossible had become possible around him. After admiring the floating pills for a while, Lu Yun's eyes showed satisfaction. Truth be told, producing a 40% top-quality pill rate was considered an extraordinary performance. He took out a prepared jade bottle and, in an instant, the 10 pills flew into it. Lu Yun waved his right hand, and the jade bottle transformed into a stream of light, flying toward Di Qing and the others. "The pills are now out of the furnace. One asked the elders to please inspect them." At this moment, Di Qing looked at Lu Yun with a hint of shock and satisfaction in his eyes.